read off what it
All
actually
right.
Sure.
We should
'Cause
be
it's
live.
bizarre.
We're live. All right. Let me... there's usually about a 15-second delay I find on YouTube streaming, so I will see when it will show.
Oh, it's YouTube instead of Twitch?
It is, yeah, we're on YouTube. Yeah.
YouTube has a delay.
Yeah. I've even though Twitch is obviously like the go-to for people to watch live streams, I've landed on using YouTube because I think its features are great and stuff, and it's it just more naturally archives everything, whereas Twitch like ceases to exist.
Yeah.
All that stuff. Let's... Okay, yeah, there we are. Hey, we're live. Hi, Internet. Got that figured out. Welcome to our live stream. We're about to play Sovereign Fall of Wormwood with its designer, Damon Stea.
Yeah.
Stay?
Stay.
Sorry, I don't know if I've ever said it out loud.
No one ever does. I don't say it out loud. So I'm the designer of this game. We went up on Kickstarter how long ago? 5 days ago? Something like that. We funded very quickly, which is super exciting. There are still goals to go, so we're still going, and so this is to showcase the game. And you guys have played it.
We've played it
so far.
We played it twice.
Okay.
We did 2 video playthroughs, and we did like a practice game not on video. And then I had the chance to play it with you previously at a local gaming bar in LA, which was a lot of fun. I don't think I won, so I think I'm looking for revenge here.
I mean, I'm kind of horrible at my own game, so yeah.
No pressure on us. We just gotta beat him literally at his own game. Also, I don't know if we've introduced you. Steven's here. Yeah. If you're familiar with Optimal Play, you've seen a lot of Steven as well. If you're not familiar with Optimal Play, we're a playthrough focused channel and would love if you subscribed. I don't need to plug more than that. Looks like I'm great. I see Larry Bartes, more mispronunciation I'm sure, in the chat, so the chat's all working. Cassandra, project manager at Ixion Gameworks. How do you say it? Yeah. Ixion Gameworks is just off camera, keeping an eye on the chat, on the camera angle buttons, all that. So thanks for being here, Cassandra. I guess where would you like to start? You want to give a little overview of Sovereign, and then we'll choose decks. Oh, you have a preferred way.
I was going to talk about the personality test.
Yeah.
I was going to do it via the phone, and the site is actually down, so Cassandra, you can check on that. So I can't do the little test as it is. I'll just talk about the test, and then you can choose one of the faces. But there is a personality test for this game for choosing your faction. So there are 10 factions in this game. Each one is completely unique and asymmetrical. So you're never going to see the same card twice. One of the things that we talk about as one of our selling points for Sovereign is that you're never going to see the same card. You never see the same card twice, and there's more than 300 unique cards. So that's a pretty wide swath of things you can see in the game. And because of that, your initial choice of deck kind of matters because you can have it tailored to your personality a little bit. And if you choose the wrong deck, it makes you feel like you're not really, simpatico with your civilization. Okay, so Cassandra got the personality test going up, where it says, "Where do I belong when I am born? Eyes sealed shut from the creche lining. Who will see me from behind the glass?" All right. So I'm going to ask you some weird-ass questions. All right. You are cornered in a back alley by a gang of angry drones. They demand your credits or your life. What do? Do you attack the leader, give them what they want, or say you can find them a better haul if they let you join their crew?
I think I would give them what they want. That sounds scary.
All right.
That's a spirit.
You hear talk in a local cantina that there was a riot in the acid mines. A prefectural talent was killed. You think, "I believe drones deserve their day, and it's time for them to take the reins of power. Talents deserve positions of power since they are born with supernatural abilities that mystify us commoners." Or, "I believe in a strict hierarchy where the strongest rule, and talents should have to fight if they want to stay on top."
Ooh, yeah, they should have to fight.
We should just give it to them. You are lost in the midst of the fungal steppe when you stumble into a chitinous alien creature. It spreads its wing membranes wide and makes a rapid clicking sound. Do you kill it quickly before it can summon more, attempt to communicate, because maybe it can lead you to safety, or try and blend back into the mist?
Sounds Sounds like something needs to be killed quickly.
sounds like it needs to be killed. Your great aunt dies, leaving you a sizable fortune. Do you keep the credits for yourself, invest the credits in a promising research opportunity, or give the credits to the community where they belong?
I think stonks go up, so let's invest in it.
All right. You find a shard of the Ark partially buried out in the spore mats, and knowing that an echo grants immense power to those that hold it, what should be done? Do you study it, because knowledge is power? Power is power, we should weaponize it to defend ourselves from those who seek to harm us, or bury it, since it should be as undisturbed as a grave.
Power is power. It's in the name.
Power is right there in the name of the word power, yeah.
You hear that a synthetic creature was seen in the Great Wastes, and it seems that the machines have formed a city of their own. Do you join them, because machines might create a better civilization? Destroy them before they can multiply, because thinking machines have no place in the universe? Or make them serve us like the machine servants of the old ones?
So this is like Machine Burning Man?
I mean, you could, yeah, sure, yeah.
Alright. Yeah, I'll join. I'll see what's up.
Sure, why not become one? The day has arrived, you're finally of age. You get to choose where you'd like to spend compulsory military service. Infantry, mechanized, or airborne?
Airborne.
That's a clear choice. Correct.
Your homestead is burning, and you can only save one thing. You could save a pack Ceph, because anything can be replaced but your lifelong companion. I'm not explaining what a Ceph is. Your books, because without them history is lost, or your money, because if you're destitute, anything's lost anyways.
I feel like with the money I can just buy the other stuff, so I'll keep the money.
A preacher is in Colony Landing fervently describing the tenets of the church. How much of your life do you place in faith? Did God deliver us Absinthian? Absinthian is the planet we're going to be playing on. There are many mysteries in the world, but my faith is in the miracles of nature, or my life is rooted in science and reason.
I'm gonna go science.
Science.
This is longer than I remembered.
This is the last one. A migrant caravan arrived at your village bringing exotic goods, and they offered you a strange, intoxicating mushroom candy. Do you take it gladly because you love mushrooms, or reject it because it makes your head spin?
I mean, if it's gonna make my head spin, I'll accept it.
All right. So it places you in the Machina Sapiens.
Ah, fun.
Okay.
All right.
Very cool. And that's on the fallofwormwood.com website?
That is on the website and also in like a cryptic place on the Kickstarter because the Kickstarter page is so long. So
right.
It's easier to find on the website. But yeah, if you take that, then it'll kind of deliver you an explanation of why you might want to be this deck.
It's not there now if you're watching this live, but if you're watching this later in the archive, I'll add that link if people want to take that. And a link to the Kickstarter as well, which I don't think I have put in that description yet. I'm a bad partner.
Let's see. Let's do the. Let's try the utopians here.
The cards that I have in front of me currently are the Undercity Brotherhood, but I think I want to switch that. I believe that I played them before, and I just kind of want to try something I haven't. Any opposition to me trying the Coriolan Exiles? I don't think I've seen them in action. All right. The riches of Corioli were looted, its people desperate and aimless with their war machine annihilated. These exiles have been forced to find a new way of life, melting down golden thrones to make bullets. Okay. Merchant caravans of exiles roam the steppe, trading between the cities that are warier of each other than the former nobles with nothing to their name. I like the intro on the deck box.
Yeah, I think the deck boxes really like add a lot to like, okay, this is who I am, and you open it up, and now now you have experience.
And my leader is a child.
Yeah, so the Coriolan Exiles, their emperor and its entire family has been wiped out. So the only like remaining royal in that family is a like kid. It's like
sure. All right. Need to give these a good shuffle. At least for my deck, all my echoes are together.
Yeah, so they'll all start that way.
These two cards I pull out, right?
Yeah, so take out your faction leader and your Citadel card. The leader goes on the left, Citadel goes on the right, and your deck is going to go right between.
Oh, Cassandra, would you, and I think the upper left of the stream deck over there's a record button. Would you hit that once? That way, it's just also being backed up on the hard drive, so if the internet goes down or something, we can post that later. I don't expect any problems, but it's always a good backup. And I don't know if you have a viewer count over there, but we have about 10 viewers. So, thanks for tuning in. So this quite elaborate setting, this is all your creation?
Yeah, so I wrote all of this. It's been sort of percolating for a really long time. I'm working on the game for like a decade, and I'm working on the story for 2.
For 2 decades?
2 decades. It was originally like a script. It was supposed to be a movie, and then it was a video game, and then it was a novel, and then it was a board game. And it's just like, it kind of goes through phases of what exactly can be done to get the story across, because this would be like a $300 million movie. So probably not. That's not really going to work out. But it works great as a card game, because that can be, that story can be told by players more than I'm having to have like a, special effects team.
Sure. Always cheaper to, or more feasible to rely on the imagination of the people enjoying the story.
But the story evolves a lot. I'm really excited that people are responding to that on the Kickstarter as well. Because people are definitely noticing, like, they're reading a lot. They're reading a lot into it. Like, they're talking about the story. They're investigating, like, more about things than maybe I even investigated myself. So I'm like, okay, I have to like come up with explanations for things that were intentionally mysterious. But now I have to like, dig a little bit deeper into it.
I mean, you can leave those things mysterious.
They can still be mysterious, but I feel like I should have some kind of explanation in my own head for some of them. Some of the things I don't explain are like, I don't explain why the people are here exactly. There was a ship that crashed.
Right.
The Ark Absinthos crashed into this planet, spit people out. But why was the ship launched? Why did it come from Earth? Why are people here exactly? And that's not going to be explained. Like,
that
was
like my favorite game as a teenager, Xenogears. Like, starts with the ship crashing, and you don't know where it came from.
Yeah, because Xenogears starts way like into their life on this new planet. Yeah. I would say play Xenogears, but it's the PS1 game. You're gonna have a hard time.
I've never played. Is that like a turn-based RPG?
Yeah, it is.
JRPG?
It's a very weirdo JRPG.
Okay.
It is well known for having a 3.5-hour cutscene.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah,
really?
It's a cutscene that in the middle of the cutscene asks if you want to save. Because it's been so long that it has to change discs.
Saga? Or...
I'm talking about Xenogears.
Okay.
Xenogears came on 2. I remember this from
2 discs.
Very long time ago. It came on 2 discs, and there's a cutscene that splits between the discs, and you have to just keep going after the disc change.
It also the second disc was very different. They like maybe ran out of money or something.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot of like narrating over the plot in the second disc.
Sure.
Like there was a lot of talking heads.
Yeah. But it was definitely very unique, and like if you were like a teenager that played that game, it had an impact on you for sure.
Yeah, a lot of the inspiration from this came from old video games like Alpha Centauri back in 1999. Big one for me, definitely. Like I think that's some of the best writing I've ever seen in a video game, and what else is like just lots of old novels and just like there's so many different things, disparate ideas coming together to create each of these. Like each of the factions is kind of representing an archetype based on history, but then it's got like other sci-fi stuff smashed on top of it, so it has to come from various sources. So the Myrmidons definitely started more as like Warhammery. They started more Warhammery, and they've gotten more fleshed out over time. So we've now shuffled our decks up pretty good. We got to shuffle them up real good because we want to make sure those echoes.
Because the echoes were
mixed in real good.
They were clumped, at least in my deck.
Draw 8 cards at the top of that deck. I'll just kind of give you the vaguest overview.
Yeah, I mean, I think the stream would love an overview, and Steven mentioned he could use a refresher.
Yeah.
We played together on video, but the difference between his and my recall is I also edited those videos. Right. So I've been through them multiple times, so I'm sure it stuck with me a little better.
Yeah, the game is complicated-ish, but it's also just like there's so many looping systems that you do want to have like an idea of how everything works every turn, so that you're not getting lost at the end of your turn. So every turn is listed, the turn phases are listed on the Citadel card. We have 6 phases to every turn. We have growth, upkeep, forge, combat, move, and draw. We also need to know how to win the game. That is, you need 10 echoes to win the game. So I'm digging to the bottom of my deck for an example.
Yeah, because you surely don't have any in your hands.
This is an echo. Echoes are pieces of the arc that brought us here. With 10 echoes, you win the game. So anytime you have an echo in front of you like this, right in front of your deck, that echo is scored, and nobody can take it from you. But if an echo is anywhere else, it's in your hand, it's in an area called the Forge, we'll talk about it in a second, then that echo is vulnerable to being stolen. 10 of those wins the game. You also need to know that this area here is called the Creche. The Creche is where the citizens of Absintian are born, and they're born one of two types, either a talent or a drone. I don't know. Can I bring that to the camera? Does that work?
It doesn't tend to focus very well if you try to do that.
They're teeny tiny little people. These are people, not coins. These are the citizens of your civilization. So that's what we're going to be taking during our growth phase. The first step of every turn, we're going to be taking 2 golden talents, the upper class. We're going to be taking them and adding them to our citadel to start growing our civilization. So who's going to go first? Do you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah, you don't have you just randomly normally, or
it's just random.
No
whoever
prescribed way?
whoever feels the firstness. Once you played a deck a couple of times, you kind of get a sense of whether you feel comfortable going first or whether it's better for you to go second.
Sure.
Yeah. There is a tactical nature to it, but there's no like first player advantage because we're going to even that out right now.
And there's no mulligan.
There is a mulligan, so I'm going to say like you get 2. So I'm just handing out these drones.
Yep. So and do you usually keep them on your citadel? Where do you like to keep them?
I keep them right on the citadel picture. Okay. If you want to see the picture, you can also just cover up the bottom part if you don't need the.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they all say the same thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there is a mulligan. So what we say generally for any game is that if you don't have any echoes or you have all echoes, definitely mulligan that hand because that's going to be a real problem.
Sure.
Those you can mulligan as many times as you want. If you show a hand of all echoes or no echoes, you can always just put that back in the deck and redraw. If you have a hand that you don't like, and in a first game, generally we say that's 4 or more echoes is probably a pretty lousy hand. You're not going to have a whole lot of choices in that hand.
Sure.
Then you can mulligan that as well. But you won't show it to anybody. You'll just say, I'm mulliganing for whatever reason. Put that in the deck, shuffle it up, and draw 8 new cards. But that's the only mulligan you're going to get.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Full mulligan.
Yeah. Make sure that you are choosing wisely when you mulligan that way.
You might have 9 because I think you took that.
Oh, did I just take that one? You're right. I just took that extra.
Wow.
I just took that extra.
Yeah. Already trying to cheat.
All right. Shuffle that back up. And what else? What else do we need to know to start? So that's your growth phase. So during your growth phase, you're going to take your 2 talents, and then if you want to just take your first turn, I'll just talk through while you're
gladly, yeah.
While you're walking through.
So I'll start with growth. Take my 2 upkeeps, my 2
talents.
Then go into my upkeep where I don't believe anything happens here.
Yeah.
By the way, I would love to tell you and find out what your leader powers do.
Yeah. So everybody has a unique leader ability that we can activate whenever we want, so long as we have the appropriate citizens to do so. So my leader ability says for a talent, let me just shove this in front of the camera there. For a talent, target unit gets +1 armor until end of phase. So in order to do that, I would just take a talent from my citadel, I would move it over to my leader, and then I would activate that ability.
Okay, so you have the potential to be harder to kill than we would like. I can, for a drone, add 1 health to a unit from my citadel. So I would put a drone here and also need to provide the drone that represents its health, right?
Yeah.
And what's yours do, Steven?
So for a talent, I can look at a player's hand, and for a drone, I can look at 1 card in a forge.
Ooh, okay. Pretty strong.
Yeah, it's a very nice power that lets you look into things, but it doesn't help you actually take them.
Right.
It just lets you see that they're there.
So anyway, getting back to it, my upkeep I think came and went uneventfully, and then it's my forge step, and this is, I think you can explain it.
Yeah. So in forge step, you take talents from your citadel and cards from your hand that are placed face down to the right of that citadel in an area that we call the forge. So most cards, any card that is not called a reflex, of which there's not a lot in a deck, but almost every card is going to go into the forge, and then we place a talent onto the bottom of the track on the back of the card. So the back of the card's track is actually functional. So you can see there that now there's 2 talents on the bottom of each of those. During upkeep, each of those talents is going to move up by 1 space. So cards left alone will just build themselves.
And Cassandra, how's the framing? Is this showing in camera? Great, okay. So I have put 2 cards into my forge, so constructing those. I move to combat, and I'm not going to pull any tricks to put any units into play on this turn, so no fighting to do for me. The move step, there's no movement, so in draw, I'm just going to fill my hand to 8 cards, right?
So you always fill your hand to 8 cards at the end of your turn.
Okay, and that finishes my turn.
All right. So is it growth or upkeep when I gain these 2?
Growth.
Oh yeah, it says that on the thing. I see now. Cool. And then I'm guessing nothing for upkeep. Is there a specific phase I can use this, or any phase?
You can use that at any time. So what we've got right now for like ability timing is that you can use an ability on yourself whenever you want, and on other players it's in between phases unless it's combat. So you could use it like in between somebody's growth and upkeep. You are allowed to use an effect on them, but you can't like interrupt them doing something.
And then remind me, if I spend these, are they gone for good, or are they come back?
The only time you ever lose citizens is when you send them to combat. Like, put them on a unit and send the unit out to fight. So any other time you use an ability or use a reflex, the cards that come directly out of the hand, then you're always going to get those citizens back. So even if they're held up, you'll get them back during your upkeep. You'll always take one citizen back from each card to the left of your deck during your upkeep. So you could activate this ability as many times as you want, but you only get one back during your upkeep.
Cool.
Right, so it's like the more times you activate it all at once, the longer the cooldown is before you can do it again.
Right.
Which is a cool system. I like that.
I will do... so I'm going to forge, and I will do this, that, and I'll do...
I have a question while he thinks, Damon.
Yeah.
Not saying that I have anything that says this, but if I did have a card that refers to playing an augment for free, does that just mean putting it from my hand onto the
Yes, that
table?
means
Okay.
you take your hand and place it on.
It doesn't have to be in the forge or anything first.
Right,
So
you can come straight at your hand.
Cool.
And then it seems like it's basically free to do this. To do one
Oh yeah,
thing.
you're gonna
with
look
this.
at something?
Yeah. So I will look at your rightmost card in your forge.
Okay, enjoy it.
So, yeah, so that's hidden information that only he gets to see.
Right. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, let's kill that.
Alright, well I know what that isn't.
And okay, and then do I have any way of speeding these up if I want?
Yes, so if you have extra talents on your Citadel, you can always flip a talent on the Citadel to accelerate a card by moving a forged talent up by one space.
Okay.
So you can do it as many times as you want, but you have to have talents.
I
to
have
flip
to
them
have
to.
talents. Okay. And then what happens? So I know. Well, I guess we can just. I can't do combat yet, so we can't spend your combat. So and then is there any ability to discard, or is it always just however much I play and then I drop to 8?
You always just drop up to 8. So.
Okay. Cool. Well, I like all my cards anyway, so I will.
I'll give you some free discards by attacking your hand later.
Okay. Cool. Sounds good.
Alright, so I take my growth phase by taking 2 talents here. Then there's nothing to upkeep, so I'm going to forge this, and I'm going to forge that.
Okay. No funny business. No one rushed out a unit or anything.
No. And then I'm going to draw a go.
Okay. Back to me already. So growth, I will take 2 talents. Upkeep, both of my forge cards will advance, and then forge. Right, that is an upkeep step.
Yes.
And then forge is when I can.
Generally, we say
deploy
upkeep
them.
from left to right, so you upkeep, take 1 token back from every card to the left of your deck, and then move everything up on the right
That
side.
makes sense. Yeah. Okay, and then I am going to deploy the Frontier Despot, who actually. So the talent that was forging it comes back as a drone, right?
Yes,
And
so
then,
because the thing that came out is not an echo, the token that was on the back flips over.
Right.
If it was an echo, it stays a talent.
And then I can I'll circle back to putting a talent on it as a hit point. I'll just deploy it in front of my Citadel, and then speaking of echoes, this one was an echo.
Okay.
So
Awesome. So you're
Built
1
one.
point
Yep.
closer to victory, and then that talent stays a talent. So now he has an extra citizen to work with for forging.
and then for this Frontier Despot, I can just put 1 talent on it as a hit point. It has a cool ability though. It just has 1 attack strength, 1 armor, and that 1 hit point. But it says if this unit breaches and you find an echo, you may look at an additional card. If it's also an echo, repeat.
Yeah.
So that 8 echo hand you're sitting on is in trouble. And then while I'm in my forge step, this is also when I need to get anything new in the forge. So... My ability that adds health for my Citadel, that can't go above their printed...
No, it can.
Oh, it can.
So anytime a card says restore health, it's stuck at that limit. But if it says add health, it can go above. And that's the special ability specifically of the Exiles, is that they can keep pumping health onto a unit indefinitely.
Interesting. Okay. But for this unit, I would need talents to contribute to that, so...
Yes.
Sounds expensive. Why don't I just get this going? And also this card. So 2 new cards in my forge. Each at the first step of forging, of construction. I'm not sure if you have a word you use for what's happening to them when they're face down
building
there.
or forging is also... They both work.
And then I can go to combat and attack one of you with my Frontier Despot. Who do I think has juicy, vulnerable echoes? Probably Steven. But, But I'm still going to attack.
The 2 places he can attack are there's a lane here and a lane here. You can either attack a hand or the forge on any given player. And you can only attack once, so he has to choose, no matter how many units he has out, he can only attack one of these areas.
And that's where the politics of the game can get interesting when it's 3 or more players, because you only have 1 attack, so everyone will have an opinion on who you should attack. We definitely, in our video playthroughs, especially in our second game, we got into some heated deals and arguments and discussions. So it was a lot of fun.
I guess I should have checked Damon so that I could tell you that was an echo, whether it was or not. I could have just told you.
That would have been smart. Yeah.
You want to be able to sell information as the Sapiens.
That said, I mean, how can I not just start by attacking the designer of the game? So I will send my Frontier Despot at your Citadel.
Okay.
I'm going to hope you have an echo there.
Yeah, there's 1 attack there, so you get to... But if he finds an echo, you can just keep looking.
Right. I don't expect that both of your cards are echoes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I will breach. I'm gonna take a look at this card.
Wise choice.
Ooh, that was an echo. Oh. Here's your talent back, and I get to look at this one next. Not an echo.
And so if you access a non-echo, you just put it back. There's no innate way to trash it.
If you attack the hand, then you can trash a card and you don't find any echoes. But if you attack the forge, then you just get information, and that's how you can be able to see something coming. Because this game has no summoning sickness, like something like magic. That's the only way to see units that are coming at you, because they'll be able to attack you the second they come out of the forge.
Good point. Yeah. Okay. Well, that was a successful combat. I like that. I think I will not move, and I will just draw and pass the turn.
Alright, so my growth phase, I take 2 talents and upkeep, so I get this back from the Machina.
And there's actually something I want to do before your forge phase.
Okay.
It's pretty minor, but I have the reflex Glacial Melt. I'm going to put 2 drones on it to pay its 2 costs. It says, gain a talent on your Citadel. Any faction may scrap a facility to gain a talent on their Citadel. So I just wanted to do this before you even had that option, right? So I'm just getting a talent, and those drones will come back on at the start of my turn, right? From working on this Glacial Melt, so it's just all upside.
So unlike everything else, reflexes you can take multiple back.
In reflexes, you'll pay whatever cost it has in Citizens. They'll sit on the card for 1 round, and then they'll all come back at once.
Cool. Alright, so I did my growth, I did my upkeep. I'm going to flip this unit in the forge phase.
Nanocore Emissary.
So this, and I can use the drone that oh wait, no, actually this came back, no, this come back as a drone.
Yeah, it'll come back as a drone. Okay. So you can use that drone as the first health for that unit.
Yeah.
So a unit always has to have 1 health, but then you can add as many as you want up to its limit.
Yeah. And the fact that his unit uses talents as hit points, but this one uses drones.
Yeah, most units use drones. Because talents are expensive.
Yeah.
You have to have some really good ability, like that one, which can be a very, very powerful ability.
It definitely seems
especially
powerful.
if you combine his power. Like, if he could look into a hand, find out how many echoes are there, and then feed you that information so you know where to hit.
Oh wow, we should do that.
And then, so I could spend 1 talent to accelerate this, but probably just put out new things.
Whoa.
So
I can hold a hand of cards without dropping them.
let's do this. Let's put out.
While he's thinking, hey, if you're watching the stream or the archive, hit the like button. It helps us out a lot. YouTube will find other people who might like it too.
So I'm thinking. So you're protecting your
My citadel, my cards in the forge.
Got it.
I want to have a unit in front
we
of.
were to fight, because we have the exact same stats, we would have 1 attack and 1 defense.
We would basically just prevent each other's damage and bounce off of each other.
Got it. Would I get
With that
past you
armor?
though?
You will get past, yeah.
Okay.
So because it's a
Oh,
living,
yeah.
a 1-1 battle is never a downside if you're going to be attacking because there's
Yeah.
nothing to lose and you don't have any attack to lose when you're looking at a card. You still only get to look at 1 card, but there's always an upside for that.
True. Yeah.
Unless he plays a reflex and just kills you.
I wonder. Maybe I'll save 1. And. Because then I could.
Oh, 1 less hit point. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm thinking you put down both of those this turn, right?
I did.
It would be useful to check those. So yeah, let's do this.
If you must. Oh, you're just gonna peek at one?
Yeah.
Okay. Which one?
I will peek at this one.
I sit here doing my best to play like mind games as if I remember which is which, but I definitely don't.
Okay.
But it doesn't seem like he's stealing it.
And then I am going to play 1 other card, which will be.
How often have you peeked at an echo and pretended to spend time reading it to throw off the other players at the
I
table?
never thought to do that, although I'm thinking of situations where that would be useful.
Not overly
The
useful.
only situation where that'd be useful is if I was trying to make a deal with somebody and I was like weirdly blackmailing them and doing something I needed them to do on the next turn.
Yeah, it would be because if he just saw an echo, he's probably just going to then go to combat with me and take it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go to combat. I am going to attack your citadel.
Okay, and so we can like kind of show
Yeah.
combat here. These line up with each other.
Yeah, so we just line up attack and armor, and then you just subtract. But since there's 1-1-1-1, it's just nobody takes any damage.
Okay, but you sail on
Yeah.
past.
Yep.
So emissaries sail on past, they breach, and then you get to look at one of those
Okay.
cards.
Well, I didn't see an echo there, so I'm betting you put an echo. So I'll look at this.
Okay. What do you see? All right.
Oh,
No, I say-
boo, boo.
Turns out it's my hand that has 7 echoes.
Yeah. I just didn't want to spend a talent to look at that. All right. So yeah, that is it for me. I've got 6 in hand, and so I will draw 2.
After the move phase, after a combat phase, there's a move phase. So
Oh,
you can always
that's
move,
true.
You can always move one unit forward in its own lane or side to side between lanes.
I'll keep it in the citadel.
Take my growth phase. So that glacial melt, even though you played it before there was another, any of us had any facilities, the glacial melt, like all reflexes, it sticks around the whole round. So any ability on that, for example, the ability there that says you can start things to get stuff, that ability is always active.
Oh, so my timing didn't actually matter
On that
as much as
one,
I thought.
On that
Okay.
specific one, yeah, the timing doesn't really matter because if I make a facility, I'm not going to do... That's very expensive to build a facility. And
Just to get that talent.
Just to get the
Yeah.
talent, yeah. But I could theoretically do that
Right.
because it is still on the table.
Mhm.
So I am going to... This is a really interesting question to do on this one. I am going to... No, I'm not. That's a bad idea. It's a poor choice.
What do I have on the table again? Oh, yeah. Cool. The kind of economy cards feel really strong in this game. Anything you can do to start getting more than your 2 talents per turn of income.
Very strong. You want to get those facilities out early if you can.
Yeah.
To start moving forwards. All right, I'm going to. I'll do this normally to show people how this actually works. Put a talent on the back, flip this to accelerate it. This moves up by 1. This is a 2, so this card is now finished.
Yikes.
These are Crash Tutors. They're 1 attack, 0 armor, and they have an ability that adds 1 talent to my citadel during my growth phase.
Ooh.
This.
We don't want those to stick around too long.
And I will keep those. 3 health.
Very strong econ card, but as a unit, I think it feels more vulnerable than at
They're
once a
teachers,
facility,
they're not really soldiers. That being said, I'm going to attack your hand. Because I know there's no echoes now.
Wow.
I know there's no echoes now.
Rude.
So
Okay.
this
Yeah,
is the optimal.
I don't have anything defending my
Yeah.
leader in my hand, so you are getting through to see 1 card, right?
Yes, I'm going to level 1 card.
Here we go.
It's a long shot. But the advantage of having a 1 card attack, it's not. Oh, I hate to kill this thing. This is. I talked about a Ceph earlier. This is a Ceph.
Yeah, it's probably it's been better focused down here, even if it's not as large.
Yeah, Ceph is basically a big like shrimp.
That is. Is this mechanical? Yes, it is. Right.
It's been augmented by,
okay.
the exiles.
Oh, is it?
I definitely looked at this and thought it was essentially a mech.
No, it's a big shrimp.
So is it short for cephalopod?
Yes, so it has it's a big shrimpy type creature.
Yeah.
It's got like heavy exoskeleton armor and like these tentacles come out the base. That's like the core of that deck as far as their big units tend to be Ceph.
Oh, funny. Okay, well
exiles.
that
It's dead now. That's
scrapped. Thanks for that. Yeah.
Because I attacked the hand, I didn't find any echoes. And that is the end of my turn, so I will draw back up to
Okay.
8 and bring my Crash Tutors back.
And if we attack your citadel, you can't choose not to defend with the Crash Tutors, right?
Right.
Yeah. So
The only faction that would be able to do that is the Windwalkers because they can move their units at any time, so they could dodge out of the fight.
Right. So let's wail on those things. That's what I'm hearing. Okay, well I will take 2 talents in my growth phase. Upkeep, my Glacial Melt will expire, and I'll get those drones back. And then Forge. Actually, an upkeep also, my Forge cards advance, so I'm at 2 on both of these. Interesting. These are both good, but only one of them can I probably accelerate out. And I'm torn. I think I was just talking about how good Econ is. I think I'm going to go for the Econ choice here. So I am going to flip 2 talents to their drone side to move this card up twice and finish this facility. It is the Gardens of Kadesh. I may place a talent here from the Kresh each time I score an Echo. And then I will get that back in the following upkeep, right?
Very solid.
So, should up to, I guess, 7 times before at the point where I would win the game doing this, I can get an extra talent. Seems good.
Is stealing an Echo considered scoring an Echo, or only advancing?
Yeah, when you steal an Echo, you immediately score it, so you would be able to use it.
Yeah.
But he'll only get one he'll still only get one talent back every turn.
Yeah. Netrunner, steal, and score an agenda are different things, so I wasn't sure.
Sure. I think I'll put this down here, actually, just for kind of keeping the table clean. And then, while I'm in my Forge phase, I should probably get one or two more things. I have 1 talent left, so one more thing. Forging.
Actually, what you could do for space, too, is you could probably scoot them over, and then you could have, like, a vertical forge.
True.
Up the side, kind of.
Yeah, go down this way or something. And then make a little more room. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Cassandra, feel free to let me know if I'm falling off the camera angle here. Cool.
Depending on the players, this game can spread out.
Sure, yeah. As many of these, card battling games can. I am going to forge this. And then combat. So again, I'll just be attacking with my Frontier Despot. If I attack Damon's Citadel, then it does a damage to his great unit on the way to seeing one card. But also, both of your hands, with this ability where if I am lucky and hit one, I get to see another. Like, both of your hands are just sitting there for the rating. I think I'm gonna attack Steven's hand. Yes.
I don't want to I'll beat up the tutors if you beat up the tutors.
That still won't kill him. Right?
Maybe I have more units here.
Oh, that's true.
I'm gonna get this to 3.
All right, we unite against those tutors?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm sold.
Yes. Kill the intelligentsia.
I'll attack Damon's Citadel.
All right.
And so as these go to combat.
Yeah, the tutors have no armor, so they just you're just brutalizing those teachers. That's a moral problem.
Well, these are despots. So.
This is I caused this. I've done this myself.
And then I would like to see your forge card with that's on space 1.
Somehow I thought that wouldn't happen.
Wow. Yeah, it's an echo. So I'm feeling good about my plays here because now my gardens can get a talent on them. So that went great. Let's send those tutors home. And man, I'm sitting on all these drones. But I guess that's not the worst thing. Eventually I'll play a unit and want those for hit points. So I don't think I need to let those burn a hole in my pocket. Yeah, I think I am good. I will pass the turn after drawing 3 cards to fill my hand.
Okay. So, growth phase, I get 2 talents. And then upkeep, I take this back. This goes there, this goes there, this goes there. And then forge phase. This is an echo, so I get this back, right?
As a talent, yeah. Well played.
This one is a 3-cost unit.
So units always come in the back of the lane.
Back of the lane.
If you put it in the same lane as another unit.
And if I want to have them both attack at the same time, they would have to be in the same lane, right?
Yes. So you can only attack with one lane to one other lane during your turn.
And then your opportunity to swap their positioning is in that move step later in the turn.
Yep.
And what's that do? Or what is it?
Oh, great question. That is a quiet Hulk. So that's, you were talking about Warhammer. This seems a little bit Warhammer-y. Or Star Wars-y too. So it's 2 attack, 2 to armor. This unit only deals combat damage if it loses at least 1 health. Oh, that's...
Oh, so it has 2 armor and it only deals damage in retaliation.
Yes.
So I guess that's really more good at defense.
That 2 attack value is also good for undefended attacks, right? Because then that's how many cards you get to see.
Yeah, it still gets to look at cards. It just doesn't deal damage to...
Oh, true. Yeah. Okay.
It quietly just reaches out.
And then
Takes
this one. All right, and then so I'm gonna put out some more stuff. Let's do.
Yeah, sitting on 3 talents over there. Wow, you're loaded.
Mm-hmm.
There's still about a dozen viewers. Thanks for tuning in. Don't hesitate to chime in the chat if you have any questions about what's going on or the design of the game or anything like that. We'd be happy to chat it out.
Or any specific cards if they're not easily seeable.
True.
So we can read them off.
And I'll do.
Whoa.
This.
I have this reaction a lot playing this game.
That's the appropriate reaction. Aha.
What? I had drawn 3 cards at the end of my turn, but then I just now started reading them, and some pretty interesting stuff here.
Let's do this one as well. All right. So I've noticed you have saved a talent.
Well, I mean, it's there now since he
Oh yeah, he got it back when I
He
stole.
punched through.
Oh,
I
okay.
stole the echo. Yeah.
Well, you definitely intentionally have a talent. So, Brandon's doing very well. So I told him I was going to pick on your tutors, but he's doing very well.
Yeah, go after him.
If you spent that talent to boost my attack, I could kill his.
Well, I can boost your armor. I can't boost your attack. It's
Oh,
armor.
sorry. I saw the A. I thought it was attack. Okay, I don't actually need that. I've got plenty of armor.
I still think you should go after him, though.
Yeah, probably. He seems
I
to be
don't see
doing
any
very
reason
well.
to attack the person who's objectively winning. It doesn't
Yeah.
make sense to me.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, I wish you actually were beefier and could damage my Quiet Hulk.
Sorry for being so non-threatening over here.
Yeah, let's attack. Which one? Is that an echo?
Where are the echoes?
Yeah. Let's attack.
I mean, he's literally the only person who can find out where
Yeah,
the
but I didn't save any.
Oh yeah, you don't have any drones, right?
Um,
And what's the talent ability over there? Oh, it's look at someone's entire hand.
Your
Yeah.
entire hand.
Too strong.
I maybe should have done that instead of playing another card, but I just wanted to spam them out. Let's attack your. I'll just attack your Citadel. Keep you honest.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
the Despot and the Nanocore emissaries bounce off each other again, damage-wise.
yeah.
You continue through, and
Quiet
then
Hulk still doesn't.
Quiet Hulk, because it doesn't take any damage thanks to all its armor, it just remains quiet. But then they loudly stomp through and look at my forge.
Yep. So I will look.
I think, have you seen this card before?
I'm fairly sure I have.
Yeah,
but
feel
I'll
free to
double
refresh yourself,
check.
and then here's a new one you haven't seen.
That one. Okay, not an echo, sadly.
Damn. It's like you got really outplayed.
Alright. Cool. And so that was combat, move. So I can move one unit or all
You can
units?
move one unit. So you can move a unit up or down, or
Uh-huh.
you could swap its position.
Let's move this up.
Okay.
It has more armor. And then I will draw 3 cards this time.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll take my growth phase here. So my Crash Tutor survived. I'm actually kind of surprised. I add a talent to my Citadel during my growth phase.
Hey, wait a minute. I just remembered we made a deal. You said you were going to attack me. This completely slipped my mind. What the hell? Oh, you're going to pay for this.
Yes. Let's see here.
This would be the most predictable way for this game to go down, is since we play a lot of games together, is we just get into some kind of grudge match and constantly attack each other while Damon walks away with it.
It doesn't have any points yet, so I'm not too worried about that.
I'm
happening.
like,
It's true.
I'm staying
It's
a
true.
little low here. I'm going to. So you got a little plan. I'm going to flip. Let's put that there. Let's flip 2 of these. We'll push this up by 2. That reveals this. This is a Technogeisha.
Oh.
Stick the Technogeisha here.
And if you move them sideways in the move phase, can you put them in any point in the line you're moving to?
No. So when you swap positions, you always have to come in the back.
Okay.
Anytime you move into a lane, you're always
Okay.
coming in the back, whether you're forging or moving. So I'll give my Technogeisha
And what does she do?
2 health. She has Cloak, so she has 2 attacks, 0 armor, but when attacking, I can ignore the first unit in the enemy lane.
Ooh.
And then in the Breach, she'll always use her full attack values. Even if you have a defending unit, normally your attack is reduced to 1 if there's a living defender. But in the case of the Technogeisha, she'll always have her full attack.
That's all part of the cloak keyword?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, every keyword is always listed and described, so.
Sure.
And then I'm going to flip this, which moves this up, flips that. This is water extractors for 3 drones. I can leave them on here, and then every turn I will add +1 talent and drone to my citadel during my growth phase.
This is a lot between your tutors and this, and you are working it.
I don't have any points, but I do have a civilization.
For now.
And then I'm going to attack my Technogeisha. I'm going to attack... you're still... I mean, you have more stuff, but you're still winning.
But look at the board state.
It's
You've
true.
got probably 4 units entering play next
That's
turn.
true.
Yeah.
No, it's 4 echoes.
Yeah, they're probably...
It's a very tough call.
I'm going to attack your hand for 2.
Okay.
Who to attack and which side of their board to attack is like the single hardest and probably the single most meaningful decision you make in this game, right?
Yeah. And that's why you want to have some kind of like... Attacking you is probably my worst decision because I really need you to be my ally because you're the only one who has eyes in the sky for what's actually in these decks. All right.
Ooh.
That is 1 point.
Okay.
Back to you.
And
It
so
goes back to me or it gets trashed?
It goes back to you. So if I find any echoes, I can't trash anything. If I
I
don't
see.
find any echoes, I can trash a card.
And you choose whether to trash it?
Technically, no.
Got it.
That's one of those things where that may change in the next 20 days if somebody comes up if somebody finds some loop on there because you've never found any reason you would allow people to prevent that.
Sure.
But I don't know, maybe that could cause an interesting choice. But yeah, right now the rules say you have to discard it. And that's the end of my turn. So I'm going to move the tutors behind the Geisha. Oh, no, actually, no, I'm just going to leave them there.
Really? And just leave them...
Because if you want to attack them, you get nothing. So,
Valid. Yeah.
There you go.
That is a compelling reason not to, I guess. Okay, that's your turn?
Yeah.
All right. My growth, I will take 2 talents from the Crush. And in my upkeep, 1 comes back from the Gardens. Now I gotta find another Echo this turn to keep that engine going. And Forge, or upkeep these move. And then where am I at on these? That's pretty cool. I like these both a lot. Why don't I... I'm going to forge this card. And then I think I'm going to flip 2 talents and rush both of these 1 step, which will deploy them both. So I have Caravan Guards. It's another Seth, right? Has 2 attack, 1 armor, up to 4 hit points once I put hit points on it, and it says units behind this one gain +1 armor. So that seems pretty cool. I'm going to deploy it in front of my citadel, so behind the despots, and it probably won't be behind them for too long. And then I'm also going to deploy the Graft Guard to attack 1 armor. Each time this unit returns from combat, you may play an augment for free on this unit. And it's cybernetic, which Steven has a cybernetic card. The keyword means this unit gets +1 attack for every additional cybernetic unit in play. Do ours look at each other's?
Yes. So
wow.
every cybernetic unit now gets stronger.
Yay.
Wow. Okay.
Teamwork.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Yes. Yeah. Just what I want.
Definitely what I want to do is team up with you. Yeah. I learned my lesson about teaming up with you. So that brings me to... I'm going to probably want some hit points.
Yes.
I have plenty of drones, so I think I'll just max out both of these with 4 on the guards and 3 on the Graft Guard. And then I'll move on to my revenge phase.
Revenge phase.
And I'm going to send my Graft Guard at Steven's leader. So I want to look at your hand, unless you're going to...
He already looked at my hand. I probably don't have any echoes left.
He saw 2 cards and 1 was an echo.
Yeah, so that was the only echo.
This is...
Well,
These are all
I did not
echoes. So
expect
what's
that.
the chance that I
That
had?
doesn't sound like a compelling argument.
These are just gonna get. I mean, yeah, they probably are all echoes. You're right. Oh damn, that is the scary thing, is that you put a lot of cards in your forge. So are there no more echoes in your hand? No, revenge.
All right.
When in doubt, get even as your guiding principle. Yeah, so this is going to get through, right? Unless you have any zero cost reflexes to play.
Yep.
And hit your leader, so I'm going to see 3 cards.
And he trashed. If there are no echoes.
If there are no echoes, he chooses 1 to discard.
1 to trash. Okay.
Wow, and there are no echoes.
Yeah, I told you. I was trying to be a good teammate.
I'm sure there were really no echoes. You were completely telling the truth. No doubt. Let me check out our board states here and what this card would do to it. I don't think we like this. Ooh, you got some. I mean, every card in this game is good. And these are no exception. All right, I am going to scrap They of the Machine, which is a reflex that lets you buff all of your units and none of mine, based on their like unit types, their traits. But yeah, missed the echoes. So I think that pretty much wraps my turn. I will just. I did want to move my guards ahead of my despots, because now units behind this one gain +1 armor, so they are sitting comfortably there, and I will just draw 1 card.
Okay.
All right. So growth phase. I get 2 talents. I like how everyone in this game is downwardly mobile. And
Switching drinks. There we go.
alright, so Nautilus enters play. Only has 1 hit point. Units adjacent to this one gain +1 armor.
Wow. We are both very big on the armor.
Yep. And it's got 2 attack, and it's not like conditional to attack like this Quiet Hulk. So yeah, I'll put this one there. Then you've got this guy. This guy's an Echo.
Oof.
You've got. Don't worry, they're not
An
all
Echo?
Echoes. No, not an Echo. Not. Oh, but this is an Augment.
Oh.
So it's a shield jet. Oh, by the way, you got to play a free augment.
Oh, thank you. That was part of why I did that. I appreciate
That was
that.
the kindest offer.
That was very kind. But I will.
I remember I saw your card. I was like, "That's cool. I would love
All right,
free augments."
this absolves you from my hit list for now. If you don't mind me retconning slightly, I did mean to play the stun whip augment on my Graft Guard. This says if this unit deals combat damage, the damaged unit has -1 attack till the end of the phase. Nothing too crazy. And then I should have drawn 1 extra card had I properly played that on my turn. So.
Cool. So then the shield generator says units adjacent to this one gain +1 armor and are immune to splash. I assume splash is some way to deal multiple.
Splash is just a specific keyword for some units.
So I'll put that on. So it doesn't damage it doesn't armor itself. It only armors.
Yeah, so it works the same way. All of the shield units for the I'm not going to say it being.
Oh, it's same as Nautilus.
Generate
Okay.
bubbles around them that shield everybody.
So I'm gonna do it on the Quiet Hulk because the Quiet Hulk has plenty of armor itself, so that's boosting the Nanocore emissaries. And then this one, I believe, needs more. I'll just leave that for now, and I will play some new cards. So let's play.
Play some more cybernetics. On my Graft Guards to be attacking for 8. Just see entire hands.
Alright, so I'm gonna play these 2. And
I don't know what it is about, like, because I feel like in both of our games that we played in other videos on the channels, you just always had this forge full of like 5-6 things. Like, it's just, it's either the factions that you're playing that are pushing you towards that, or just a playstyle difference.
It's
But I always
usually,
have like
usually
one or-
playstyle. Like factions change the choices you have, but the actual choice, like the choices you have options for, but the actual choices you make are always yours. So
Sure, yeah.
somebody who likes having like a huge forge will almost always just have a huge forge all the time.
Yeah. Always be forging.
See, when that's your motto.
All right. And then this unit returns from combat. That's only attack, right? It's like it's their combat phase,
that's a
or
good
would
question.
it be?
It's anytime they have been in combat.
Okay, so if I
so-
attacked and it survives, and he has an augment in hand, he could play it.
Yes. Now a deck has a maximum. Like each deck has 5 augments in it. So
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know
Actually,
that.
there's
Okay.
less augments in any other card. But
Oh, interesting.
Yes, if he has
I
another one in
actually-
his hand, then yeah.
I had actually assumed because of that card that this faction had like was a little more augment focused than others, but that's not the case. They're all
It's a little more luck based on that side, just because you have to have the augment.
Interesting,
to make
okay.
it work.
I think I'm going to. Oh, and then, do you only deal attack damage once? Like if I attack with these guys.
When you're the attacker, you only deal attack damage once.
Oh, but the defender deals.
defender
it
will
to-
deal it multiple
Okay,
times.
so it would deal. Actually, it wouldn't deal any because this has 2 armor now. So,
is that kit? Are you from the Nautilus?
no. This
Or
this has a
where's-
Nautilus-like
Yeah.
effect.
Now there's no.
Oh, the shield. I didn't realize the shield generator was an augment. I see. Okay, so
Yeah.
your Quiet Hulk is generating shield.
Yep.
Oof. Okay.
I'm gonna look at your hand, Brandon.
Wow. Goodbye, hand. Rude.
All right.
Luckily, as you're learning, there are no echoes in it.
I'm going to attack your hand, Brandon.
I see.
Oh wait, I should probably look at the reflexes because that's shenanigans. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I'm going to
Scary.
attack with these 2. I guess maybe I should have put that in that lane, but oh well. So yeah, I'm attacking with these 2 against your hand and your graph
Okay.
guard.
I think just that I'm not doing it mid-combat. I'm going to do something that I was planning on doing between now and my next turn anyway, which was use my leader's ability to add 1 health from my Citadel to my Graft Guard.
Okay.
So it's a little more survival for this. And then thanks to Cybernetic, it has 3 attack, and the Quiet Hulk
you.
shield generator is not buffing itself,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Buffs
So
it
thanks for
around.
attacking for
Okay.
damaging it.
Yeah, so it does get damage, which does mean it does its damage back for the first time.
And this
will
goes
deal-
back there, or goes?
It goes to the crush.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we've each dealt a damage to each other there.
Yep.
Also, oh wait, if this unit deals the whip that I put on this says if this unit deals combat damage, the damaged unit has -1 attack till the end of the phase. Does that immediately?
Yes. So now this has a 1. Imagine this is instead of a 2, it's now a 1 when it passes.
Oh, so that did not reduce the damage that it just dealt
doesn't
because
reduce,
that's
yeah,
simultaneous.
doesn't reduce the damage that it deals, but it
Okay.
deals damage. If it was a defender, normally that's when you're attacking.
Sure.
You're whipping things, and the defender they'll slowly get whittled down and
Got
they'll be able
it.
to deal
That
damage.
makes sense. And also, if he were going to kill this and then be undefended, it would have a lower breach value
Right.
for that purpose.
So
Okay.
yeah, if he can somehow
But-
finish that off, which you
Yeah,
can't really
which I don't
do, the
expect.
emissaries, yeah.
Right. So the emissaries come through.
So this is a 2/2 because it's cybernetic boost and this boost.
Okay, so this is a 3/1, so your 2 will deal 1 damage through my armor,
also deal
and
1
I
to
deal
me.
1 through your 2 armor. Yeah.
And you get to look at 2 cards.
2 cards
Okay.
because it's 2 units, or is
So it would be 2 cards because it's 2 units, and even if you had wiped out the defenders, you still wouldn't be able to use the 2 there because
I
the
reduced
whip-
it by 1.
The whip
Yeah,
reduced
okay,
it by 1.
okay.
Okay, 2 cards. So you're going to look at 2 of the same cards you just saw.
Yep.
But you're going to be meaner about it this time. Enjoy.
Right. Boo. Okay. Phew.
Oh, damn. Okay, that does mean I get to keep this. Oh, which is extremely good, because as my Graft Guard comes back from combat, I will put another augment on it. Duelist. Which, that was my fear. I was like, oh,
I
good,
think-
you're attacking into that. I
That's a
can...
good question. So should this have been before Access that he played the augment? When does it return from combat?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
Technically, Yeah, there's no actual specificity of whether the returning is before or after a breach.
I had just
It's
kind of
never-
assumed it was like an end of combat.
Yeah, I assumed it
step.
was after the breach,
Trigger,
but
yeah.
I'll make a note on that because that was
Okay.
I've never actually questioned.
Yeah.
I'm like thinking about what would happen if it wasn't.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I think
Well,
Steven and I would like both agree that it would be better for in each of our minds for me to have done it first, because then it would increase his chances of
I
getting
would
an
have
echo,
seen a different card.
and I also would have not risked getting it scrapped before I
Yeah.
could play it. Right, that
Yeah.
was the scary thing for me. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's interesting. But I had just assumed it was an end of combat phase
This is a good
event.
This is where we're pretty much at with the game right now. Is like there's single word changes to some cards to make sure that they like this is the exact timing when that exact happens. Sometimes it can be like a period in the wrong place can cause
Sure.
issues.
I mean, in this type of game, the little templating changes can change a card's meaning.
Yeah, in TCGs it doesn't matter that much because they have like errata and they get printed more often. But our goal is to make sure we never have to reword a card. It's a lofty goal.
That is a lot. I was just
cards,
gonna say good luck with
Yeah,
that.
for 400 cards, it's a lofty goal. But like, my hope would be that this,
For
at
sure.
least the core set would not have to be.
Yeah, well, it
reworded.
should certainly, I think, at least be your goal to minimize / not have any. Whether that's feasible is an open question.
Yeah.
So the augment that I did get to add to this says it's duelist. If this unit is alone in its lane, it gets +2 attack. So now between cybernetic and duelist, this is a 5 attack unit sitting here alone in its lane. That also reduces your attack by 1 if you get damaged by it. So, in conclusion, stay out of my hand.
Alright. Move phase. I'm a little worried about this now that it's only 1 health. So I think I'm going to move Nautilus over here so that it's double shielded. Should have just stayed. Would have been smoother if I had just summoned it there to begin with. But you live and you learn.
Wow. Okay, so your emissaries now are sitting there with 2 attack and 3 armor.
Yep.
And one little hit point. Okay.
And then I draw up to 4, and I won't draw any echoes, so don't bother hitting my hand.
All right. If he says he just doesn't have any echoes,
As long as he didn't draw any.
yeah, must be true.
Alright, let's take those back. I get 1 extra from my tutors,
Ooh.
1 extra from my extractors, and then drone also from the extractors.
And you're allowed to just leave your 3 drones that are working in that
So
facility?
there are 2 different kinds of abilities. One has a colon, and that means it's just triggered as soon as you move this citizen onto it. One has an arrow, and that means you can leave them on as long as you want.
Okay.
And they'll just keep doing that forever. Technically, you could leave your citizens on another facility if you really wanted to.
Oh, it's optional to recover them
Technically optional,
in all
yeah.
cases, but there's no
I don't
reason
think there's
to
any reason you would ever do that,
other
but
cards,
maybe
okay.
potentially. But yeah, in this case, I would want to leave it on here because as soon as one is gone, the ability will stop working, but I
Right.
can't work it again
Until
the
all
card
3
is
are gone.
empty, so it would take forever.
Okay, so your intention is probably to leave those there forever.
Yeah. Let's see. I'll put down that.
And what percentage of the deck are echoes?
20 out of 50.
Okay, so 40%.
Is that really important to the way you think of the game? That
It
it's
is
a percentage?
It is
Yes.
super important.
No.
It is like that's how I think of it very much.
Really? Like in percents?
Yeah.
That's
If I see that you've been forging a lot, then the percentage, like if I'm thinking about that, I'm like, oh, it's just dropped from 40 to 20. If you forged like 8 things, suddenly like hitting your hand might not.
No,
be
and I get that card counting logic for sure. It was just specifically the translation to a percent, and instead of just being happy with 20 out of 50, that's what I was marveling
I
at.
don't know. Like, so the thing is, like, so I
It's not 40%. It's 2/5, man.
I just didn't defend my hand, but I drew 4 cards. So that indicates, if I was you guys, that would indicate that I didn't have any echoes.
And
but
now you
that
do.
40% of the 4 cards that I drew would be echoes.
Yeah. So you just drew 2 echoes, guaranteed.
I drew 1 and like
We
2/3
round up,
echoes.
Okay, let's. Okay, I'm gonna put these guys here.
Still forging?
I'm just gonna do this like the way it should be. So I just flip these 2.
Oh, because you're rushing something out?
and rush that out. So that you can do that faster by just saying. I'm gonna
Wait,
flip
but
over
didn't you
instead.
need to put a talent on it?
So I did.
And
So imagine it like this.
Oh, because it starts at
goes
one.
here,
It starts at
talent goes
one,
on,
and you'll.
flips
I
this
got
one.
it.
Yeah, so you can quickly put out anything that isn't an echo just by flipping
the
talents
number
instead of
like equal to its
actually
cost.
put it on there. That does pay the cost. Then I'll fill that up with 2, 3, maybe all 4. I guess all 4.
Oof. And what is it?
It is a Chimera Empath, so they have 1 attack, 0 armor, but units adjacent to them restore health from the crash during my growth phase.
Yikes. Okay.
I'll stick that back here.
From the crash. Wow.
Yeah.
Scary.
And then let's attack with the Geisha again. Now
We've covered that Steven has exactly
2
echoes.
Exactly 1 2/3 echoes.
You do seem really threatening, so I think I'll go after your hand. Yeah, I think that's probably the best move.
Alright. So do you have a favorite method of selecting cards, like
It's
dice
all about like
or
what
Mo?
what I've seen happen before is like some people will try and compress them all in the middle or the sides, and if I see how you're doing it and you're not, I'm gonna try like that. Nope. Okay.
Oh. Okay, we'll scrap something that he would like.
I'm going to definitely get rid of these wraiths because that's just bumping both of you up.
Oh yeah, it's a cyber.
Oh, cyber.
Why
Oh,
did I play that?
I need to kill as many
That
cybernetics
makes
as I can
sense,
as fast as
yeah.
I can because they're I'm not going to be saved from those. And then that is all I can do. So I'm going to move my Technogeisha to the back of this lane.
Wow. Interesting. Okay. So your hand is wide open.
Oh yeah.
So he's rushing 2 echoes there.
And then it is your turn.
I don't know what to do. Well, I know to do my growth phase. And recover a drone from my leader.
Let's get these back a little.
Okay, we'll move this card up. Oh! I forgot that I have an echo that it completes. I definitely thought that I had a unit that was like 3 or 4 costs that I was not going to finish there. Glad I looked at that card. Okay, well then I scored an echo, so I will put a talent on my gardens. And so, okay, that feels great. And then I have 3
Yeah, getting those out
talents
first is
to
really
work with.
valuable. Getting those out early really helps.
Yeah. So interesting that your tutors are at the front of that row, so I could kill them, but
They're
then I'd have to
asking
go
for
through
it.
the
And
gauntlet
you'll have
you
to
have
punch
behind
through
them.
everything
Yeah.
else coming at you.
Well, the empaths are pretty wimpy.
Yeah, teachers and empaths and I made
Yeah.
choices. I made choices.
So I'm not still in my forge step, but I'm thinking ahead to like probably attacking Damon here. The question is, do I want to try to get his tutors off the table, but then I think I could get through but just look at 1 forge card, or do I want to send my 5 attack unit at his hand and see most of his hand, which is probably the much better way to score echoes, but it doesn't help with the fact that he has he's getting like 2.5 times as much citizens each round as we are.
Does seem like a problem.
It does. Okay, well, for now I'm forging, so this is a fascinating card. But it might be a little late in a game where we're at maybe the halfway point or just past it if we kind of start scoring groups of echoes. Might be a little late for that facility. Let's forge this card with a talent and this one. Sure, why not? I probably won't draw a fresh handful of echoes if I'm down to 3 cards in hand now. This is fine. Okay. I have to make that decision now. It's combat time. What am I doing? Oh, this is annoying that I don't have enough drones to use my ability and bump something's hit points up. Okay, so if I... let me think this through here. My Graft Guard with Cybernetic and the Duelist Augment, it's 5 attack, 1 armor. So it would just obliterate your tutors and end up taking a damage from your Techno Geisha, it looks like, and then get through to see one card.
Pretty much.
It's really good to take your tutors off the table, but getting, 2 echoes from just looking at your hand for 5 cards, that would be real good too. And then finally, the other consideration is if I attack with this lane, I could attack your hand, or either of your hand, and see 3 cards, but with the Frontier Despot's ability, where for each echo I find I look at another card, right? And so I don't know what to do. No, as much as the Despot is one of those things where you can be like, I could find infinity echoes, it's probably not actually the right call. I think, Damon, I'm just going to go for points, for echoes, and attack your hand with this graft guard. So
For 5?
5 attack, unless you have any tricks to pull.
Yeah, I've run out of citizens, so I'm not going to be able to do it.
Okay,
But
you have a completely full hand there, right? Yeah,
full
you
hand.
just ended your turn. Okay. So let me... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No echoes?
Yes!
What? How is this happening to me?
This is why I really wish we had a camera on each hand.
Oh yeah, that would be
Like,
fun.
does it
Yeah.
miraculous?
Okay. What are we scrapping here? Ooh, this art is unnerving. I think I'm gonna scrap your Tachyon Burst, which that feels it's a reflex that adds or returns a unit to its owner's hand. Which when I have this Exodia unit with all these augments, I don't want that to be done to me. So we'll scrap that. But wow, that didn't go great. Okay, move step. I think I'm gonna leave everything where it is and just draw 5 cards to end my turn.
Alright. Growth phase. Upkeep. And probably one of these is an echo, right? Seems like something I would do.
It does seem like something you would do.
Actually, no. None of them are echoes. And none of them can be played immediately. So, that one's at 3, 2, 2. I might need to fast out one of them.
Can you play augments on other people's things?
Yes. And should sometimes.
Just every augment can be played on other
Every
things.
augment can be played on any
and then you just
anything
deduce from the text
matches.
whether it's kind of meant to. Okay.
Okay.
Because I was looking at this, I was like, why would I want this?
No, yeah, it definitely probably needs to go somewhere else.
Alright, I'm gonna spend 1 talent to advance this to 4.
Oh.
And it's a strike hero?
Shrike.
Strike hero.
Strike
Strike
herd.
hero. Strike herd.
Yeah.
Oh wow, you were way
it's-
off.
It's a 2/1. It's a synth unit. If this deals combat damage, add one of the help tokens that would be lost to this card instead. So that's fun.
This is cool. This is a new unit that I haven't actually seen very often, so I'm excited to see this thing.
Oh nice, okay. It's a max of 3 units per lane, right?
Max of 3 units
Yeah.
per lane.
Oh, I was gonna just go all out.
That's why there's only 3 per lane.
Cool. And then in the move phase, can you swap, or can you only I can't move into this?
You can't move into that, so you can move out of that into this new one.
Got it. Okay. And the next turn, if I wanted to, I could. Oh, yeah. Yes, please. Okay. So, I'll do these 2.
You always have so much in your forge.
And we and reflexes can be played at any time. They're like instant speed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's And this also is like instant speed?
Yes.
Okay. My big line's going to attack your big line.
Whoa.
All right.
Okay.
Have a line off.
Some bloodshed here.
It's a very strong line. Except that Quiet Hulk, I don't think it's going to do any damage. So that's good. Let's see what happens. So the easiest thing to do, unless there's some, I don't think there's any indication we shouldn't do this, is just one at a time. So just the Quiet Hulk moves down the lane, no damage, takes no damage, does no damage, takes no damage, does no damage, takes no damage, does no damage.
Okay.
And then the Nano emissaries will then come afterwards. They also have 2 armor from the Hulk.
Yep.
And 2 attack from their cybernetic.
Oh, and they're
ability, right?
cybernetic.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. So they deal 1 damage.
2 damage, right?
Oh no, you're right.
Your tutors are gone.
Oh no.
You love to see it.
No matter what, that thing's gonna kill him anyways, right? There's nothing I could do. Okay. Alright, tutors are dead.
Whew.
Okay.
The empaths deal no damage, take 2.
Does it do damage again?
Oh no, yeah, right. It's an attacker, so it doesn't do any damage. They deal no damage because they only have 1.
Yeah.
1 armor, and then the Technogeisha deals 1 damage because it has 2.
Well, no, this has 2 armor because of that.
Oh, because of the...
Actually, this has 3 armor. Because
Yeah, because it's between
the
these.
Nautilus. Okay.
Yeah, wow.
So right, so that thing's fine. Wow, that is surprisingly strong.
Yeah.
And then the Nautilus does 1 damage to the front, or 2 damage because it's...
Yeah.
Yep.
And those are dead. And then it does... it takes none, right? Because it's no, it's not getting any armor from anything else. So it still takes 1 damage from the
Yeah,
okay.
so it looks like
it... Oh, wait.
I was going to say, so it looks like it dies here, but Steven is looking at his hand as if he has a stunt.
I might not have a stunt. Because, yeah, it's... I can't restore any more to it because it's at full health. That's annoying.
Yeah, if it uses the word restore, it's limited by the health,
Yeah.
by its printed health. Okay.
You could pump its armor.
I don't even have the citizens to do it.
Oh.
My...
Bummer. And I assume it can't go down to 0 and then I play a reflex
No,
to restore.
once something goes down to 0, it dies.
That makes
as a
sense.
state-based.
Alright, it dies.
Okay, the Technogeisha takes 2 damage.
I feel like it was still worth it. Gotta have a big line off. Okay, so my guys get past you. Then
I just had an idea of how to use a card that I'm very
how many
impressed
cards
by.
am I going to
So
be
you
able
look
to
at
get?
2.
Okay.
Because this attack would be reduced to 1 because I still have some defenders.
Okay.
But that's still all the cards in this.
Yep. Alright, so...
Was he...
That's an Echo.
Whoa!
Oh!
And Steven takes the lead. You have 5 now?
Don't worry about it. I didn't get any free citizens from it, so it was just honest play.
Yeah, and you lost a unit, took some damage. Like, you definitely paid a cost, but it paid off for you.
I am going...
Oh, by the way... and since you let me retcon something, I'm happy to let you retcon it, but you never put any hit points on your Shrike card in your Forge Step.
That is true.
You probably should have, yeah.
Actually, while you're doing that too, now that I have some citizens,
Oh.
I'm gonna play knit. I'm gonna knit my empaths back together.
What doesn't it do again? I know I just looked at it.
Completely restores
Oh,
a unit.
okay. Oh, and I guess I wasn't sure whether you could. This is a question I would ask if it had mattered to me. Is you can play reflexes with talents?
Yeah, you can play anything can be used as the payment for a reflex. So,
Oh, okay.
Talents,
okay.
drones, it's all the same.
So the fact that they're like the silvery number doesn't
Silvery
mean
was
drones
just trying to like
necessarily,
make
yeah.
it different from the goldy,
Sure.
goldy part of this. Generally, they're paid with drones because nobody wants to usually spend a bunch of talents. But why not?
Sure.
All right. Yeah, I'll put all my workers. I was like, I finally have workers. I never had like the drones before, and it was because I hadn't actually paid for my thing.
Yeah.
So okay, that is me. I will draw 3 cards.
Okay. Well, yeah. Now
It's like 1 1/4 echoes.
my economy's not quite as strong now.
Still pretty strong.
Let's do. I'll take these back. Okay. Well, yeah, I got some talents to work with.
Yeah.
Okay, so my Technogeisha also restores 1 because empaths heal the things around them.
Oof. Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Had to do it. See, I fulfilled our agreement just like 3 turns later.
That's not really how agreements work. But you don't just honor them at your leisure.
When it's convenient for me.
Trust in you is still low.
Let's see here.
I have a real mean combo of cards here. We'll see if I end up devoting the resources to it. But yeah, I can be a real jerk in coming turns. I could really use more citizens, though.
Screw that. I'm going to take this one back. I'm going to flip 4 of these.
Whoa.
That's really a bad idea, but whatever. I'm going to make these empaths. I'm giving them an Ion Shroud. They deal +2 damage and gain 1 armor when resolving combat. So now they are a 3/1.
And what's the significance of when resolving combat? Does it mean that it doesn't increase their breach value? Basically?
Yes.
Okay.
So it means that in the breach, it's still only going to look at 1 card. And...
Yikes. Okay. It's pretty scary.
Okay. See, now suddenly those hulks become really dangerous to me. But I can still kill it. And I think I will.
What? Why would you do that?
So I don't really need to see into your forge. If you will attack him and not me, I'll leave you alone.
Yeah, no. Now that
What?
now that your upkeep guy is dead, I'm fine ganging up on Brandon.
What? Why are you making deals with the person who's in the lead?
I don't
You're
know.
just
It just seems like at the moment. I mean, now that you put it that way, actually, maybe that's
Yeah.
He's
you're
got
just
he's got the scariest.
He's just gonna stroll to victory.
Yeah, I mean that thing is.
You could go in and like slaughter his Shrike herd and see his hand.
I don't have any echoes.
You've already verified.
Technically, that thing is the strongest. I mean, it's a 5/1 is that?
It's a
Right now?
5/1. Yeah.
2 health. It's pretty. That's pretty strong.
Oh, 2 health though. Who's scared of 2 health?
You know what? I'm just gonna defend myself. I'm gonna swap the position. No, actually, I'll leave this behind. I'm gonna leave them right where they are. Leave them right where they
Oh,
are.
so you're considering skipping combat?
I'm just not gonna fight. I'm gonna leave
Wow.
it alone.
Going for the pacifist victory.
Utopians are built for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So he's just and he put 1 new card in his forge. Well, he also forged and accelerated it out of this Ion Shroud, but so he's definitely defending an echo there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. At the rate that you and I are stealing each other's echoes, I don't think that he can catch up just forging 1 or 2 at a time.
I've got to get a stronger lane out. That even with 3 armor, or 3 attack and 1 armor, I need to. Gotta build up. Technically, what I need talents because I need to use my powers.
You had a lot of them.
Yeah, remind me what your leader power is.
My leader power is for a talent, a target unit gets +1 armor until end of phase.
Right.
But I can do
strong.
that a bunch. I
If
can
you're
pump
sitting on
something up,
talents, yeah.
Especially if I'm defending.
Are you for sure passing the turn?
Yeah.
Is that wow? Okay.
Good.
Then my growth, I will take 2 talents. And upkeep, I will take the talent from my gardens and advance the 3 cards I forged last time. I think at least one of these is an echo. We'll all find out together. Not an echo.
I feel like I've thought that before, and it
Yeah.
didn't turn out to be the case.
There's an echo. Okay, so I did
Alright.
score 1 echo, which will get me another talent on my gardens for next time.
Oh god.
Oh yeah, those gardens are punishing.
Right, I forgot about this. Okay. All right, so I have 2. I'm sitting on 4 talents. I should probably speed something out here. The question is what? Oh, definitely this. This seems great. This. Yeah. Okay. I think all my cards are great. I love all my cards equally, but one of them is fine to forge later. One I will rush out now. So let me. This is 4 total, and it's on 2, so I will flip 2 talents to complete the Duchess of Ash. This is a human unit that is 2 attack, 1 armor, as much as 1 whole hit point. But she says units in this lane get +1 to their breach value. Seems pretty good in this Despot's lane to me, so I'm going to put her at the back of that lane and put a talent there as her hit point. A melted throne makes fine bullets. Another reference to we are really really making a lot of guns. 4 drones that I'm sitting on, so that's cool. Let me think. Like, I have a great play that I would really enjoy making that would really screw up Damon, but he is like not the leader here. He's not the threat. So I
very
want
specific choice to not take anything or attack him.
I want to do it because I'm looking at a card that I'm like, this is so good to screw him over, but also it just doesn't seem like the play.
You want me to be your ally right now.
Yeah.
You both need me to be your ally. For a while.
You're just trying to put yourself in the kingmaker position until you find a chance to strike. Okay, I have 1 talent, so I could forge 1 thing here. Let's get this card in the forge, and then I'll move on to my combat step. What happens if I go for Steven's hand? He's got...
The designer of the game passed on combat, so obviously that's like a pretty OP strategy.
Don't ever look at me for like strategy advice on this game.
No.
My choices are always bizarre.
This is so interesting. I mean, again, even though I want to attack Steven, Damon is the one who theoretically has a fresh new hand full of delicious echoes. And I can, if I attack your hand, these all have +1 to their breach value, so I would see 3, 4, 5. I would see 8 cards.
He's drawn since you last attacked. I didn't attack him. He's drawn.
Units getting +1 to their breach value, does that only matter if it's an empty lane at the end of combat?
No, it's all the time. So that means that if there
so they
was a
would see
defender,
2
that's the
each if there's a
huge
defender?
advantage to the Duchess is that.
Oh, holy shit!
Yeah,
okay.
if you come through, their breach value increases even if it's been already decreased through the defender.
That seems incredible then. So actually, I should definitely attack Steven. So I'm going to come with everything.
Yeah, that means if they all live, you have a minimum of 6 cards.
Does the Duchess, need to go into combat for her ability to
yes,
apply?
you always have to bring the thing to combat if you want.
Oh, can you only send part of a line to combat?
You may.
You can start from the
send less than
front. As long as you
everything,
start from the front, you can move back and bring things that way.
Okay, so I think I feed you a hit point here. Well, we'll play this out, obviously. So I'm sending my whole Citadel lane at your leader.
Yeah.
So my Caravan Guards are 2-1, and
I'm 2-1.
Okay, so we do 1 damage to each other.
Yeah,
right.
But the damage that I deal to you, if
Gets
this unit deals
absorbed.
combat damage, add 1 of the health tokens that will be lost to this card instead.
So it just
right. So it
lose
basically
1,
breaks
but
even.
steal 1
Yeah.
thing,
Yep. Okay. Well, that's pretty good. But then this Frontier Despot. So now these Caravan Guards are giving +1 armor to everything behind them.
Yes.
So this Despot is a 1/2. So I think these two just bounce off of each other.
It seems like.
Or yeah, that's right. Because they both are dealing damage here.
Yeah.
And the Duchess of Ash is a 2/2. So they're going to get 1 damage on your Shrike and not take anything back.
Yep.
Seems pretty good. And then you still have a defender left, so we're looking at the quantity of units that get through, which is 3, but they all have +1, so I'm seeing 6
and
cards.
the Duchess says that it adds to itself as well, or everything.
It just says units in this lane.
So it's
Yeah.
itself as well. So,
Okay, so
yeah,
I will
it's
see
a total of 6 cards.
6 cards, and for each echo I take, I see another card. So I like this.
Well,
Alright, right?
this only activates. So this only activates once at a time. So like if you see any echoes, you get to draw.
If this unit breaches and you find an echo, you may look at an additional card. But then it says if it is also an echo, repeat. Wait, sorry, say that.
What that means is if you breach and I should probably tweak the wording by like 1 word on there. If
Okay.
you breach and you find at least 1 echo, then you draw an extra card.
And is that so?
And
It's
if
like,
that is an echo.
if in the first 2 are
Okay,
for the
that's what I thought,
Caravan
yeah.
Guard, so if the first 2 are echoes, does this not trigger, or is this for all 6?
You just add these all up.
Got
so
it.
they don't have
Yeah,
to
that
any
was-
of this.
Okay, so my assumption was right. I'm looking at 6 cards, and this ability affects all 6.
Yeah, it triggers
Right,
just
because
as
it's here,
soon as
yeah.
you find an echo, you'll be able to draw an additional.
All right.
Okay.
I think you're guaranteed to see the whole hand. So
Okay. That must mean you have a lot of echoes.
as long as they have 3, I believe
If
it's
you have
guaranteed.
3, it would be guaranteed to trigger
Yeah.
a second time,
Yep.
and then
Yeah, because you're absolutely right. Because the least echoes I could see here was 1, and your 2 remaining cards would also be echoes, so I would chain into them. Yeah. So okay, so that's a 3 echo. That's a 3 echo combat. I think that was a pretty good one.
I don't like it.
I will add. I'll score those. I will add 3 talents to my gardens, which probably means I'm set on those for the rest of the game.
Yeah, so you don't need to score any more echoes.
Right. And let me just take a moment to particularly like what reflex do you have? Oh, okay, I've seen this before. Okay. I can't scrap any of these because they're still echoes, but I just wanted to make sure that I'm learning anything I need to learn. Here you go.
Learning's overrated.
We'll bring these home. That went great. I'm very happy with that. So next is my move step, and I don't think I care to... Well, I'm just going to swap the Duchess with the Despot because she has more attack, so she would be more likely to stop a unit from proceeding further, I think is my logic there. And I draw 1 card to end my turn.
Alright. Growth, take 2. Upkeep, yoink, yoink, yoink. Are any of these echoes? That would be nice if they were. Yeah, that's an echo.
Whoa. Yay. Congrats. You're at, he's at 6. It's basically the same as my 8. we should be ganging up on Steven, is what I'm saying. I feel like once you're at 6 or so echoes, even at that point, it feels like game point to me. Because you get through for like a big hand
It's
breach.
very
and
surprising how hard it is to get the last 2.
Really? Okay.
In every game, I'm always blown... For like thousands of games, I've never not been blown away by the weird math that results in this. I don't understand how it works. I wish I was like Richard Garfield and I was like a professor of mathematics, so I would understand why this is happening. But yes, getting the last 2 echoes is always frustratingly punishing compared to the previous 8. Some of that is due to the fact that people are building up systems
the board
specifically
state
many
is
times
strong,
they'll have built up systems over time that have been like subtly tweaked to stop you in particular.
Sure. So what you're saying is I'm not a threat.
It's just reached that point. There's like some very weird little math things that go on to make it because we know that if you go to a 12 echo game, because we say like
you can play like a
longer
game,
one.
yeah.
A 12 echo game is 2 or more times longer than a 10 echo game.
Wow.
So that
I wouldn't have
very
expected
weird.
that.
It was very weird, and it took us a long time to figure out. Like, even though we would have never figured out why it's happening, we're just like, oh, we know this is the way it works.
It is.
A 12 echo game takes forever compared to a 10 echo game.
The mysteries of the sovereign game system.
I'm going to flip 2 things to advance these both. This is a Black Queen. It's 2/1 Slave Link. This unit gains +1 attack for every other unit you control in this lane. And I'll put that here. And then this is Snatchers. It's 2/1. You may remove a drone from target citadel during your upkeep and add it to your citadel.
Hang on, while you're rearranging his echoes, this has been bothering me, that one of them is upside down.
Oh, yeah.
It has no material impact, but...
Just scooting them down so my units don't bump in.
I guess I need to...
Here, I'll just swap my this guy.
Okay, so suddenly you have 3 units in front of your hand.
Put some hit points on them. And
this is why I should never play the Utopians, because I always play them the way I designed them, which is like, oh, I'm just playing the long game.
Yeah.
Like
a little too long of a game based on how this is stacking up. Yeah.
There's a plan. There is a plan. There's a meaning to the madness, but.
All right, and then I didn't save any talents, so So Brandon could have 1 more echo. That could be his 9th echo.
I would definitely hit that forge.
It's a real gauntlet between you and it, though.
So
what's
weaker
all
gauntlet
the
on that
shenanigans? So the caravan guards give everything else
+1 armor.
If you could deal 3 damage to the guards, then everything else gets weaker.
Yeah.
And so this is actually where we've kind of hand-waved it a little bit, the like exact sequencing of combat, right? But like actually 2 units fight at the front, and
Yes,
then they move up 1, and
yes,
then these
so
are all
in
simultaneous.
the worst
right?
possible case scenario where like every unit has an effect that affects every other unit,
Yeah,
but also
which is
relies
roughly
on,
where I'm at.
but it also relies on which ones. It depends on the order of units, but yeah,
Oh.
they would slide in, fight, slide, fight simultaneous, then
Okay,
slide,
okay.
and assuming they're all alive, 3-way fights would then
Okay,
happen and then
yeah.
you'd finish. That's almost never. Usually, you can just say like slide the first one. And
Yeah,
slide the
yeah,
other
you've seen us do that numerous times where that sequence hasn't mattered too much, but yeah, with the front unit granting armor to the ones behind it.
Yeah, that's
could
the way I
come
say.
up.
As long as you
Yeah.
can kill the front unit first, you don't have to worry about dealing with any of that. 'cause it
Oh
just-
well, no, oh actually that's right. I guess he's not, unless he has exceptions to this. He's not dealing damage once he's passed it on the attack anyway. So the armor
Yeah.
actually doesn't matter that much.
Right.
Okay, the armor was
It
very
matters as
useful
long
when
as
I
that.
attacked.
Yeah, as long as that thing
Yeah.
stays alive, it'll keep providing.
But
as
if I
they-
kill
as
it-
they walk past it.
You won't though. It's impenetrable.
And this guy's a 5/1, right?
Yes.
But I don't have any. Well, I guess this person.
5/1, and it's whipping anything that it deals damage to, reducing its attack by 1, which would mean you see fewer cards, right? If you kill it and then get in.
Yeah, I hate it. So let's. I think we got to attack your forge. The despots are just 1 attack, right? Nothing is boosting.
Nothing is buffing them, other than they have +1 armor. Yeah.
Okay. Not for long. Alright. So let's.
Okay, let's play this out here.
All right.
So
3-on-3.
oh boy, this is going to be the
Free-for-all.
first fully complex combat.
All right. So we got 2-on-1, 2-on-1. There's no bonuses to those guys, right? Right now.
Correct.
So it's just 1-to-1.
Yeah.
1-to-1,
But
and you absorb that
mine
hit points.
steals yours.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Let me look ahead here for a second. Okay. This is just a 2/1.
It's a
The
2-1.
Snatchers.
That's it.
And this has +2.
Yeah.
It
As long
gains
as
+1
long as
attack?
these are alive when it fights, then it will. Have an extra 2.
And this how often does this?
Anytime
If it deals
kills-
combat damage, so it can also. Oh, it's not dealing damage. Okay, so it's not going to be gaining any more hit points from its ability this time, right? Because as the attacker, it's not going to be doing damage in the next step.
Yeah, it's done.
Okay. I think rather than break my brain and have to deciding whether this is fully necessary, I'm going to go ahead right now, and I can do this in the middle of combat, right? Use my leader ability.
As long as they've finished resolving damage,
Sure,
then
sure.
you can.
Yeah, I'm not trying to do anything like before
Yeah.
the defense does its
Yeah.
damage. But before we move on, I'll go ahead and use my leader ability twice to add 1 health from my citadel to my caravan guards.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a good choice.
So then we're going to proceed down the line here, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and this is all simultaneous, but your Shrike Herd has already dealt its damage, so it's
Yes.
just getting damaged by the Duchess for 1.
I hate it.
And up here, it's 2/1 to 2/1, so they each damage each other once.
Yes.
Okay. And then...
Okay. Then those things are still alive. So like the Shrike Herd is still alive. The Snatchers.
Snatchers are about to die?
They're
to the
about
Duchess?
to die.
So right now the Snatchers are going to die before the Black Queen?
They won't die. So everything is simultaneous as it moves. So its ability will still affect it. So this is still a 4.
Okay. I'm also...
Snatchers won't make
I
it.
don't want them to die, so I'm going to spend 1 here. Restore health to any number of target units using Citadels near Citadel, so I'm going to restore 1 there.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then
Yeah,
one's
then it just
lost,
deals
but it
1
survives.
damage. Yeah. And then this
Okay.
one deals 4 damage here before it dies because it doesn't have any armor to keep it alive.
Yes.
So it
Oh,
does.
that is 4. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So it is still going to kill my caravan guards, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well played.
Now it doesn't say.
But you do kill
yeah,
the Black Queen.
The Black Queen is dead.
Okay. That's I accept. Okay. And then as this continues on,
It
the
would-
Snatchers have already dealt damage, and the Frontier Despot
there's
can't.
nothing- there's
Okay.
no
So
way
nothing
to
else
damage
happens. Okay. So you get through with 2 units,
Yep.
and you can
Yes.
see
Whatever's in there.
my 2 forge cards.
Is it an echo?
You've maybe seen this before, but
Wait. Oh, yeah, it's
Right?
Forge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I assume this is... I don't know if I have seen this one.
and then here's the other one.
That's good.
That was on 2.
Not an Echo, sadly.
Oh, I thought that was an echo for sure.
Yeah, you would think. Maybe it should have been. But I guess now I'm glad it wasn't.
Yeah, now good.
Yeah. I mean, my echoes are probably the bottom 20 cards in my deck. I really haven't seen any.
All right. So that's my combat.
That was eventful.
I'll put this over here. Remember to return that eventually. And I will... Oh, I could move if I wanted.
Yeah.
I guess in retrospect, it wasn't worth adding 2 hit points to my Caravan Guard, right? Since they died anyway. 1 hit point would have been enough to get them through.
Yeah, 1
to
hit
that
point
of
would,
combat.
they'd still survive.
So if I had slowed down and been and really gotten in the tank and figured out the math, that probably would have been
if you really want to make like the perfect possible move, you can like Rain Man your way through your
yeah, like
entire
that was
concept.
knowable, but that's okay. I stand by. Especially when we're playing games on video, usually the viewer I think appreciates speedy play.
I feel like I've
more
made a
than
couple
perfect
mistakes
play.
on like sequencing. All right, so I'm gonna move the Quiet Hulk over to here and then draw 4.
And that's the one that gives.
It has a thing that gives armor.
Feeding armor to the
Oh, because of its augment, right? Okay. Oh, but it's adjacent unit. Okay, so not the whole.
only this
not the whole
matters.
column. Yeah.
Okay. This goes up. This is as expected. Okay.
Steven only has 1 card in his forge. This is unlike him. Huh.
And hand fully defended. So
Well, someone stole all my echoes, so I couldn't play them. Like literally, I could not play.
That's a
Echo
good point.
that
You
turn.
could not have played an Echo in your forge because I took them all. Okay.
okay.
And by getting me to spend my drones, you stopped me from doing that really mean thing to Damon. So he can thank you for that.
You didn't have to do it. It didn't even save your unit.
I didn't. I know. Well, yeah.
It might have saved.
Like we were just saying, the better play in retrospect, if I had done all the math, was to put just 1 hit point on it, because that would have gotten it through to take out your unit. But the extra one was overkill. So slight misplay, but so be it.
And then we're going to.
Interesting. We're all like deep in the tank at this point.
Yeah, apparently there's like an opening here. All right, let's go with that. Okay. Where are the echoes now? That's not happening.
But clearly he has a handful of echoes. He just drew 4 cards, something like that.
2, 1. I know that's not anything.
Yeah, these have been seen. Yeah.
I shouldn't have moved these back here. That's causing some issues. All right, I've got to make this play. So I'm going to. Oh, but I need you to. I need you to attack him.
Shouldn't one of those have been advanced, or was it? Or did that already happen?
Oh no, I there was only 1 card in there. It was an echo, and I
okay.
scored it.
Oh yeah, I was too busy thinking about my own hands. I missed that also. Okay. All right, 2 points on the board.
That's kind of what we thought it was, I think.
Yeah.
I know that's not either. I still don't like gain anything from attacking.
I mean, if you can see his hand against stuff.
It's just getting past that stupid thing.
The stupid thing, yeah.
It's so
it
strong.
has 5. I mean, it's fragile at this point. Especially with my leader ability turned
It can be
off.
killed, but not by anything that.
But not without, not
all
at,
the way through.
not
You
without
could have
some
saved your
cost,
talents
yeah.
to like give yourself 1,000,000 armor.
Yeah, I have the
Oh, yeah,
talent
you have a
here,
talent,
which I can use, but I only get to use it once. So if I use it now, then I'm attackable.
I say bring it on.
Use it break you. Yeah, I mean they're not the strongest things in the world.
No, clearly you use it to attack Brandon.
If I'm taking down a cybernetic, I guess you get a little lead for 2. All right, let's just do it. All right, I'm going to attack.
Do you have any cybernetics anymore, or did yours?
Yeah, this scrap card
one.
is cybernetic, and yours is still in play too, right? Yeah. Okay, so it's still a 5/1.
Yeah, I'm going to attack your graft guard.
Wow. Okay.
It's a 5/1, right?
How much are you sending?
I'm sending both the Technogeisha and the empaths, and I'm going to use this to give my empaths 1 extra armor, so they now have 2 armor.
2 armor.
Armor.
The iron shield is or shroud is giving them 1.
Shroud gives them
okay.
1 armor. And they have 2 armor, and they also have 5 health. So.
Okay. Well, this monstrosity of augments has. I'm just double checking. Yeah, if it's alone in his lane, it gets +2, so that's 4, and cybernetic makes it 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a 5/1.
I take 3 damage, but I deal 3 damage to it.
So that'll take it
That's
out.
enough to take it out. Now it permanently reduces the attack value here, so I won't be able to look at as many cards. But
Or for the phase, yeah.
Yeah, but at least it's dead, so that's
Sure.
step in the right direction.
Okay.
And so I have 2 from the Geisha plus 2 for the empaths because they're -1.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a total of 4 cards.
Okay. Here you go.
2, 3, and 4. 1.
All right. I'll allow it.
There you go.
Thank you.
And that is the end of that.
How am I going to get my last 2 echoes?
All right, your turn.
You're done with your turn? Okay. Well, no, I guess I might as well leave. Or, yeah, since you don't draw at the start of your turn, which my card game brain always makes me think will happen.
I don't know why
There's
most card games don't. It should be the end of the turn, like every
Did
day.
you ever
Yeah,
play
that way you
Middle-
can think ahead,
The Middle
yeah.
Earth card game was dropped 8 at the end of the
I
turn.
never played the Middle Earth
It
card
was
game.
good. The cards were a little too texty, but I mean, it was a nice
I'm
game.
strongly in favor of drawing at the end of the turn. The reason we do it is primarily like you have to have enough cards for people to steal from you.
Right.
But the reason initially was because I wanted to make sure that if you draw new cards, you're reading them during other people's turns, not the beginning of your turn.
Oh, I would have thought the primary reason was so that you have a fresh hand that may have echoes.
That
for
happened
anyone else to
later. That
attack.
was like, I was
Interesting.
like, oh
Okay.
yeah, it makes sense. But
Yeah,
the primary reason was like, I don't want you to be doing the magic thing where you draw some big ass card and you're like, oh, I need to read
Sure.
the card
Yeah.
at the beginning of my turn.
Yep.
instead.
Yep. Okay. I have 3 talents. Nothing. Oh, and I'm getting a drone back from my leader card in upkeep, but that's still cooling down. And I'll move these each up. Let's see what we have here again. I don't think there's any reason not to complete forging the Highborn Academy. I can add idle drones to this facility during my upkeep, and then for a talent, I can flip all the drones on this facility. So I can like send drones there, flip them to talents, and then get them back over time, right? It's probably a little late in the game for this to be very impactful, but I have it. And then this seems cool. I think I will go ahead and I need new cards. I need shiny new things to do. I'll go ahead and rush this out. I will deploy the Scrap Scavengers. They just have 1 attack, 1 armor. I think I want some drones. I'm going to put 2 hit points on them. And they have the ability, you may add 1 progress to forge card anytime a card is scrapped.
Oh.
And that means anytime any card, like anyone's card is scrapped, right? So if I look at your hand, don't get an echo, that triggers this.
Yes.
But also if units kill each other, that triggers this?
Yes.
Wow, okay. So I should put something down that would be cool to get a lot of progress
If you
on.
advance outside of the forge phase, you still can't flip them.
Yeah, you can only ever flip in the forge phase.
Okay, so some things for that to be used on. And then going to the combat phase, I think the only play here that makes much sense is to just go for your hand, Damon. Even though you probably just put a bunch of echoes down, you just have a meat grinder in front of it. Yeah, exactly. You have that meat grinder in front of it. I have the despot. I have the despot and the Duchess of Ash combo here. Fun mispronunciation. Or is that not what your oof was about?
No, I just
the Duchess of Ass.
If you could win.
The Duchess of Ass is a different card, same deck.
I certainly could. I certainly could win here. Because I'm going to see like 5 cards with the Despot's ability to chain if I just attack Damon's hand. It seems like the no-brainer, so I guess I will do it. Let's send these at your leader, your hand.
All right.
Any tricks?
You
You do have a lot of drones if you have any fun reflexes.
thinking no.
Can you bum me a drone to play a reflex?
I could actually.
Okay.
I have a way to give you a drone. I'm not going to, but I could.
Can you bum me a drone? No, I'm not going to do anything. So.
Okay, so yeah, this is with the Duchess adding +1 to each. This is a total of 5 cards, right?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, potentially for the win here. Let's do these.
Yeah, you nailed it.
That is it.
Oh.
2 echoes.
See, I had a reflex to let me draw more cards, and I was like, should I take the risk of drawing more in the hopes of like
Of diluting it.
it a little bit? But I don't know what's
Did you
coming.
just have those 2?
There was just the 2.
Okay.
So I was like,
Okay.
Yeah.
should I take the risk?
Yeah. So there was.
And
It was.
I should have.
Wow.
I would have
yeah.
diluted it enough
Yeah.
probably to hold it
Well,
off.
good game. That was super
Yeah.
fun. The thing that I really wanted to do, just because it works so well, I think, and would be so mean, is relocation is a reflex that takes a citizen from any player's colony and adds it to a target citadel. So I could take one of the drones off of your econ facility over there, right?
Yes, you could
turning it off
that
essentially
lets you
for like 2.
relocate one of these and turn off something big.
For like 3 turns,
Yeah,
you would have
exactly.
to wait to turn that back on. So that was. If you had upset me, I would have made that a higher priority.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did have 2 echoes back in here, but it was just too slow.
Yeah.
I did not think you were going to take those 2. Like early on, those 2 echoes that I played in there, I'm like, oh yeah, this will just be fine if you take them, fine if you don't. It's like,
Right.
turns out it's not fine if you take those 2 because I needed those 2 to keep running.
And
yeah.
so you had just seen, how many cards did you see from my hand there?
I
4,
saw,
I think.
4.
I had 4 echoes in my hand, and you only got 1 when you
Yeah,
drew 4
same
cards.
kind of thing.
So
When you pulled mine,
that
that's
was
why I
lucky.
wish people had seen
Yeah.
it. I had 8 cards and I think 2 echoes in it, and you just pulled everything that wasn't an echo out of it. It was
I
like,
figured that happened. There's
you're
like
very carefully weaving and dodging around the echo.
nobody ever has no echoes, which I think is great. Like there's always
There's always something
I mean,
somewhere.
not to say it's mathematically impossible for you to have no echoes, but you just almost always have an echo at a minimum in your hand, and so you always have that vulnerability there.
Yeah,
And then-
players, especially like Magic pros, oftentimes they'll try and figure out a way to get echoes out of their hand, or like mulligan into a hand that has almost no echoes, because that's their thought process. Is
Right.
like, oh, they're not land, I don't need them to play things, so why would I wait? I'll just wait till the points come in later. That is not how this works, and they will like get wiped out by like not having enough stuff in their hand and just getting like destroyed
Interesting.
as they can't get points out. So.
Yeah, and I had played 2. My entire forge was echoes because my hand was so full that I knew I needed to hide them somewhere.
Yeah, that was you pulled off like a high military win with Exiles, which is good because that's it's an interesting deck for trying to like weave things together, and the cybernetics were definitely helping too.
my units really combined in a way that was very powerful.
I finally drew some really fun reflexes. So I had one that made an entire lane cybernetics.
Ooh, yeah.
Which was pretty, like, you could make your own lane, which is probably how you normally do it, but you could also potentially make someone else's lane to boost your own cybernetics, I guess.
Yeah, because it all depends on how many you have. So if you
Yeah.
only had 1 unit, you could pump up somebody else's lane, and then now it has like 5 health or 5 attack.
Right.
And then I had a card that like moves someone to a different lane of the same owner, although it said cannot use during a combat phase. So I guess you'd have to do
Okay,
it
but
preemptively.
still, you could really screw up someone's sequence. So like my card that was granting armor behind it. If you move it to the back of the other
Oh
lane
yeah,
or
exactly.
something,
Like
that would-
I
yeah,
could have
just really
like moved one of yours there because one of your guys like being alone.
Yes, yeah, it would have ruined.
He just likes being alone.
Yeah, it would have ruined the what was the name of that augment? Duelist. It would have ruined the duelist augment, and it would have put like the thing that was granting armor behind it at the back of a row. Like
Yeah.
would have really slowed me down.
And this one is super expensive, but it basically mind controls a unit for 1 turn.
Ooh.
You drew all those in the same turn?
I think I drew them all last turn.
Okay, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so you were 1 away from just like just teleporting and mind controlling everything.
Yeah. Jeez.
But also would require a lot of drones, which I was always
Yeah,
kind of
you
low
always you were really low on drones.
Well, because I wasn't fast. I was just I was spamming instead of fast advancing, and so I think with that, like when you fast advance stuff, then you have more drones. 'Cause
Yeah,
you're spending
yeah.
for that.
Yeah, that was another thing I did that I probably shouldn't have done, which was I like accelerated everything for the first 3 turns heavily, And so I was that's why I have so many drones, but also why I was running out of cards. I was just trying to make sure like you guys didn't look at me as a huge threat because I had so many things in my forge. I'm like, I should have just put everything that wasn't an echo in there. Wait and see if you come at me. That's fine.
Right,
and then just
right.
come out later with these because even though the distractors were good, it would have been nice to like wait off on them a little longer.
I remember that, and maybe it's a playstyle thing. I remember that from when you first taught me the game and played with me, that you did a lot more accelerating out your stuff than was like my natural inclination to do.
Yeah, it depends very much on the deck and the playstyle, and so like with the Utopians, usually when I play the Utopians, I almost always lose because they almost feed me too much of the way I play, and like they give me the option where I'm like, oh yeah, if I just wait a little bit longer, I'll like get more stuff.
Right.
And then it's just waiting too long, and I'm just waiting in the vent. I could create like because of the way they're constructed. If I had one turn, this unit is functionally invincible. It has 3 armor plus another 2 armor every turn if I'm able to put that out. Like it cannot be damaged under like, any circumstances. But it takes forever to get something like that out. So.
Yeah, I could see how you were working towards building just like an impenetrable fortress over there.
Yeah,
and thankfully for me, you didn't quite pull it off in time. Yeah. Very cool.
You took the personality test. Did you feel like the Machina Sapiens like played to your?
Yeah.
style?
I mean, the one thing I'll say is that I don't know if looking at people's cards is actually my personality style. So like, because I tend to be more like I'm just gonna find it, you know. So I don't. Maybe the personality test needs to have something like about like do you like to only make gambles when you like know the outcome, or do you like to like YOLO it? Because I would have.
That's a good note. Yeah.
I would probably have said YOLO it.
It's true. Yeah, that's actually a big deal. If you think like, do you like to think things through or like really like fly by instinct?
Yeah.
Then yeah, definitely like that's the opposite of the Sapiens, and there's definitely decks more like the.
But yeah,
so like the Undercity or the Hegemony, they're like make an instinct plan and just go for it.
Yeah. The Hegemony was what I played in one of our videos, right? That had the printed attack on the leader that you said was you've changed, right?
Yeah. So when you played, I think the leader could act as a unit, but only I think when defending. And we've tried that like 3 separate times to create that leader, and it never really works. It's like hard to see. It's like hard to understand because oftentimes your leader will have citizens on it, but then somebody has to remember like that's health now on that guy. Like that thing is actually.
Oh, that's how that was supposed to work? Yeah, we definitely didn't.
Like, it's weird. That one's weird. I just don't like the power never really works out. I'm not sure if that was the power you had when you played.
I don't remember what the text on the card was.
It had attack, I think. So you had.
I played the one. I had the printed numbers there, and we sort of just did our best interpretation of what that meant.
Yeah, any tokens on it act as health because it's.
We didn't even. I don't think that crossed our mind. We basically treated it as it's a passive ability of that leader that it like deals 2 damage to incoming attackers, which ended up being very strong.
So it couldn't act as a defender. So you were playing it right accidentally. It was
right, but we weren't.
They were having wrong in that they were using both the power and it as an attacker.
Yes.
Because we had stickered over
with a power.
And they explained how it worked as an attacker, which is why you guys didn't know. There's no reason for you to know.
Right.
But then you ended up using both the power and it as a defender, which is very, very powerful.
Yeah.
We keep swapping the ability for the Hegemony because it's like its normal ability is very gentle, but the Hegemony is like a bunch of sky pirates. So the deal is like, okay, well they should be constantly the aggressors. Like they should never be the ones sitting back and forging their stuff. Like they should always be fighting. But then it just makes it really. It's like, oh well, actually turning the leader card into like a real fighting system is remarkably difficult. Like in every possible respect.
I believe it. Yeah.
So we'll see. Maybe that'll come back. We'll see. We keep swapping that power out. So right now it's back to being like a normal leader.
Sure. Yeah. So asterisk on my win in that game, I guess. Where I was just enjoying the best of both worlds in our interpretation of how that.
As long as everybody thinks it's fair, as long as everybody's going along with it, like interpretations, as long as they're the most fun, is what we want to go with.
Man, anytime Brandon wins, I don't know if the game balance is perfect.
Yeah, and I know even your rule book is probably in flux, but I like the talking about timing, I think it actually says like reflexes and things are generally at the start or end of phases or during combat, but it says like don't let timing rulings interfere with cool moves.
I'm very specific about that because like some people will definitely get in the weeds on that specific timing system, particularly coming out of other TCG-like games, and that definitely can cause a lot of problems in making like pacing feel fun.
Sure.
Because it can happen a lot. There's only 6 reflexes in every deck, so it's not like it's usually.
Oh, I didn't realize how symmetrical the decks were in that
They
respect.
are quite
that they have the same number of
yeah.
reflexes and augments.
It's approximate. Some of them are slightly tweaked, but
Okay.
usually it's like 6 reflexes, 5 augments, 13 units, and 6 facilities. And that tends to balance out, so you'll usually have a roughly equivalent mixture, you know, in your hand. So that seems to work out.
Sure. Yeah.
And we just changed that too, because we had 12 units before, and like these are the tiny little tweaks that change this game quite a bit. Like the difference between 12 units and 13 is actually like 10% more units in your hand at any given time.
I would have thought, like, it feels like you have a lot of units. I'm surprised that 12 are now 13 out of 50 is the number of units you have.
Those little
like,
tweaks,
if you had asked me, like, from my gut, how many of your 30 non-echo cards are units, I would have probably guessed 18. Like, that's what it has felt like to me.
It's just a side effect of, like, the fact that you draw back up at the end of your turn changes that a lot. Like, if these were going to be drawn the same way other things are drawn, like one at a time, then yeah, the math would even out in different ways. But yeah, it causes some really weird effects like that. We recently figured that out, where it's like, oh, if you have 12 units, sometimes you'll run out, but if you have 13, you almost never do.
Right.
And I'm like, why? I don't know. I'm not like, I wish, I need a PhD behind this who's like, here's why this is happening. Yeah. Not just making guesses, but yeah, as long as we see that and like, okay, this fixed it. Somehow this solved the problem by changing one card out, then.
Fascinating. Yeah. Listic in the chat on Space Pirates says, Space Pirates can also be planning and scheming.
They could be planning and scheming. I like the idea that they just, like, unlike everybody else, they have no long-term thought. Like, they're not, like, everyone else is thinking, because the game is supposed to be taking place over many years. Like, technically, like, what we just played is supposed to be, like, 4 to 8 years of time.
Okay.
And so for the pirates, it's like they should be, like, fighting, dying out.
Okay.
Their society should not last
long.
that long.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. And I like that. I can see that for that being an aspect of pirates, but I like that they're just like, you have that thing I want, I'm going to get it, and like that informs their playstyle. Yeah. I feel like they're the good. You know, we've brought up Magic a couple times because it's just the card game, right? That everything is compared to. Like I feel like if anyone is going to be like the red deck, it would be the Sky Pirates.
Yeah, definitely they're the ones who were just like hit hard and fast or lose. It's kind of their deal.
Right.
But like I didn't design most of the archetypes based. A lot of people will jump on and they're like, oh yeah, these are like Magic archetypes. Like these are like standard systems. I'm like, well that's good because I didn't plan that.
I mean, this game is not. In my mind, this is too different from Magic for me to draw those parallels very often, but it still has, you know, some of the concepts of aggro versus control and tempo, and like some of those will still.
It's definitely there. I try to make it so that no matter what, you can always like, so the deck never plays itself, and it's always you playing the deck. You know? It's always you making
which I
choices.
always feel like
your play style fits how it's gonna go. So like just in your case, you played the Exiles very aggressively. Like their flavor text is very like, we're calm traders.
Except
for the bullet guys.
Yeah, it talks a lot about melting things down to make bullets.
The emphasis is supposed to be on the melting more than the bullets. Like the craftsmanship part. But yeah, you played it as like we were a bunch of murderous like brigands. But it's totally doable, right? Like it doesn't. Right. Even if the system itself is like, oh yeah, it kind of leans towards one direction, you can play it however you.
Sure.
Like.
And with all of the non-echo cards in the deck being unique, and I think I commented on this on a video too, is like, in a game of this, I drew less than half my deck, I think. So from game to game, there's going to be a lot of variation just playing the same faction,
definitely.
right? Like I could, frankly, we could play another game where we didn't shuffle our decks and we just started over but continued with our decks as they were, so we would have a completely uniquely different.
Yeah, you do something completely different, and then even if you just swap out one faction, even if 2 people played the same thing and somebody else swapped out another faction, that's going to dramatically change like the play state.
Sure.
Suddenly those cybernetics don't show up, and suddenly those things you have there cybernetic mean a whole lot less, right? Because there's a lot less cybernetics in that deck than there are in this deck.
That's gotta be, the cybernetic keyword has to be tough to balance.
It's
because if you're like if you're the odd person out, if like you're not someone who has, and maybe everyone has 2 cybernetics in their deck, I'm not sure, but assuming the factions are different in that respect.
So in this case, we all had at least 1. I think I have 2. You definitely have a ton, and I think you have potentially 2. Any high tech civilizations have at least one cybernetic
Sure.
that they deal with. The drone state also has one that everybody always tries to keep alive for just long enough to actually make it do something.
Okay.
It almost never happens. But yeah, it's like maybe not even, like 1/3 of the factions have some kind of cybernetic reference. And so yeah, you'll be like feeding each other sometimes, and then it makes me have to have, okay, I need to target a specific thing to start weakening both of you simultaneously.
Right, yeah, it seems tough to be the odd person out when we both had cybernetic. Even though
I
we
have
only
different-
just
I have
giving us each
different
plus
advantages.
one. It's not like it was the end
It's
of the
never
world,
caused
but-
a big deal, mostly because in the Machina is the only ones that can control it. So like in your case, you're putting them out, but they're not really in your control, right? They're happening somewhere else, and somebody else is controlling
and I
them.
just happened to be...
Yeah,
having the
even
benefit.
even if your benefit is currently being boosted, if I hit him, it weakens
Yeah,
you.
it was
So
like
it's
unlikely for me to play multiple cybernetics and buff myself, is what you mean? Or
Yeah, in his
okay.
case, he could play multiple cybernetics or make someone else cybernetic and keep increasing that ability and change that. So if you want to control cybernetic, this is the only deck that can do it.
Interesting. Okay.
So everybody has something like that. Like
Right.
if I am in full control. The Utopians they have other things that control their armor as well. So if you let me just keep going, if I have long enough, I'll have enough systems that like I can boost my armor by like 2 to 8. Even 5 armor is almost impossible to punch through. So
yeah.
yeah, that's like possible for me to do, but it'll take a long time, and you'll see it coming. If you
Okay,
keep looking
okay.
right
Yeah, my 5/1 unit here, that was the highest attack I've seen in this game. Having played it 4 times now. I don't think
Yeah.
I've seen anyone go above 5.
5 is a lot. Like
Yeah.
8 is an enormous, obviously. Like that's a psychotic attack, and anything that big is always going to have like 1 health and some kind of major vulnerability,
Right,
and cost
right.
a lot to get out. But yeah, armor never goes above 3 as far as like printed values, and almost never will we see something go above 4. And even then, it'll take the whole game just to get that thing out, and somebody will kill it with a reflex or something to make sure it doesn't last.
Right, right.
So armor is worth a lot more than attack generally, just because it holds on so much when you're defending.
Well, this was a blast. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for checking it out.
For
and,
designing
playing it
such a
again.
fun game and for sharing it with us and being on stream.
Yeah, and thank you everybody for checking it out and seeing the game in action.
Yeah, we'll wind it down here. Thank you for watching. Again, whether you're watching live or on the archive, we would love you click that like button, subscribe to the channel. That's all super helpful. And then Sovereign Fall of Wormwood is on Kickstarter now.
Yeah.
And you've got from the date. What is the end of the campaign?
What is the end of the game?
Do we know?
July 10th.
July 10th.
July 10th. So if you're watching this anytime between now and July 10th, that Kickstarter campaign is still roaring. And we will put a link to that personality test so you can see.
Yeah, personality test is super fun. Also,
Yeah.
note that the stretch goals are still going. So I think we'll probably hit another stretch goal today. And then the game is just getting better and better. Like the quality is generally what we're adding for those stretch goals. So like the quality of our components just keep increasing as we go.
Right. Yeah, you were telling me some about that, about what you were hoping to hit.
Yeah, we're hoping to hit acrylic. Like right now, you're seeing these are like the cardboard versions of these tokens, and then if we hit our stretch goal or later stretch goal, then we can have acrylic tokens instead, which look really nice and feel really good. And
Right.
we're trying to have like this should feel really good coming out of the box, and everything should.
I love
all the
that.
components should feel really nice.
Yeah. And the this prototype that we're playing with, you have deck boxes for each faction, which I've said I was a fan of. Is that something that is a
Yes.
stretch goal?
No,
Or-
these are in the game right now. So we have deck boxes for every faction. The deck boxes have the little story about
Some
the faction on the
lore,
back. So
yeah.
all of that is in the game right now. Unique echoes for every faction. I think that's the stretch goal we're just about to hit.
Okay.
So that means that right now we're all dealing with the same echo image, but
Yeah.
they'll have unique imagery for every faction. So that'll be our next step up. But yeah, everything we're showing, like it can only get better from that. This is all that's in the game right now,
Right,
and then it
right.
just gets better from here.
Love it. That's the way you want to do it. It's all nice to haves and not we're holding you hostage.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Well, yeah. Thank you again. This is great. Thank you also, Steven, for joining us. Always a pleasure kicking your butt. Whatever game we have on the
I
table.
mean, you're welcome to thank me by losing. So
One of these days, I'll consider it. All right, yeah, thank you for watching. That's a stream. Cassandra, also from Ixion Gameworks, thank you for... I gotta say, it was nice having a behind-the-scenes producer. Normally I'm over here with the stream deck, like, trying to focus on the game and do camera angles and stuff, so, yeah, if you want a very low-paying job, extremely low-paying job.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
This was great, but yeah, we will call it there. I think when you hit that button to stop the stream, it tends to cut off like 15 seconds into the past. So give it a few seconds, and then we'll end the stream and see you all soon. Yeah, so this is probably what you'll cut off if in like 5 seconds you